Wanna go closer. Wanna go closer.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to get things started. Let me see some emojis in the chat, everybody. Let me see some emojis in the chat. Keep it appropriate, of course. to this song so much. It just gets me in the mood, you know what I mean? In the mood for streaming, making videos, all that stuff. That's why it's the new theme so far for this channel. All right. I think we are just about ready to get things started. All right, just had to kind of fix a couple of things with my phone recording because I'm able to use the phone again for the damn video, of course, because for whatever reason it doesn't always work. It's so weird. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another live stream on Regularjosh1. I'm back, kinda. How have you guys been? It's been 2 weeks. Posted a video, of course, and then the week afterwards, thankfully I posted a video before last week. But yeah, I've been busy. I've been pretty busy. I mean, I've kind of taken this particular week off, kind of like, just chilling, just being, just not really doing much because after that, the last week I had, man, I was beat. I was tired. So yeah, I was, I think you guys probably know, or you probably don't know, but I am a part of a show, non-union, or it kind of is union-ish, but at the same time, it's not under the contract that is currently being struck right now by the strikes or anything. So that's why we're able to continue doing the show, thankfully. But yeah, I was doing that show for the week, and damn, how is it still hot? Like, for whatever, I didn't think it was gonna be hot today. Maybe it's because of the lights or something. So I think I'm gonna have to turn the air conditioning on. So yeah, just a very quick second. I'm not gonna put the be right back sign on, but I am gonna turn the air conditioning on, so just hold on for a quick second. Oh, jeez. Alright. Actually, hold on a sec. All right. I have returned. So, again, yeah. So, continuing. Yep. Yeah, but the show that I was doing, it was a lot of work. Excuse me, we filmed 6 episodes within that week. We had 6 filming days, essentially. And so I was only in like 4 of the episodes. I wasn't in all 6. But regardless, oh shoot, looked like it was about to crash there. Yeah, but regardless though, it was a lot of work. we have like 11-hour days essentially. So yeah, roughly about. No, am I right on that? No. Yeah, I actually, it's more like 10.5-hour days. It's a long like day that we do. We have to film almost everything within that episode. It's 11-minute show. It's 11-minute show basically. And so that's kind of why we're able to, film the episode so fast. But regardless, it's still a lot of work. it's a lot of work. So that's why when it came to that week, that's why I couldn't really post anything. I was thinking about doing a video, but at the same time, I was just so tired. So I wasn't necessarily, I couldn't necessarily say, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and make a video. I wanted to, but I was just I was too tired to do anything. Like I was solely focused on doing the show and also saving my energy for the show as well. So yeah. But yeah, it's been great. It's the second season. You know, last year we did the first season and it was technically a pilot. But now because of that, we are you know, because of how successful I guess the first season was, we got new episodes that we filmed last week, and which is also exciting, is that next year, somewhere around February, I think, we're going to be doing even more episodes. In fact, next year we're going to be as far as I'm concerned, we're going to be filming like 16 more episodes. And I don't know if that's all going to be season 2 or if part of that's going to be season 3. I have no idea. But yeah, it's been awesome. It's been absolutely incredible. I wish I could show you guys the picture. I wish I could show it up, but I don't necessarily have that set up on this current stream. But yeah, if you guys remember, last year I posted a video. What was a video? No, I posted a picture. I posted a picture like roughly around Cartoon Network's official 30th anniversary. And excuse me. And I essentially posted a picture with me in my costume on the green screen with the guy who created Johnny Bravo, because he was also in that show for the episode that we were filming, which was amazing. Got to meet him. He was very cool to work with. And I think I showed it in one of my videos, probably the Cartoon Network 30th anniversary video. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think I showed that he did kind of like a little sketch of Johnny Bravo and did like a signature underneath that sketch on one of my scripts. And I wish I could show you guys that right now, but that was just a very, very, very cool experience from last year. And it's awesome. And again, what was very cool is that in this particular season, one of the episodes was actually written by somebody who worked on Milo Murphy's Law. I'm not kidding. One of the episodes that we worked on, I think it was one of, I can't think of which episode it was, but I think it was might have been one of my favorite episodes that we did in the season. But one of the people who worked on Milo Murphy's Law as one of the, I guess, I don't know if she was a main writer or what, but she essentially, and I did talk about this a little bit in my last stream, but she essentially wrote on Milo Murphy's Law, right? And so to be able to have somebody work on our show that we're doing is freaking cool. So yeah, that was pretty awesome. Yeah, so I'm definitely grateful for the fact that I'm a part of the show. Kids love the show, parents love the show. I've had like a couple of people on my Instagram, parents who have found me on Instagram, and they talk about how much they love the show, and they've been incredibly excited that new episodes are coming. So that's pretty damn awesome. So yeah, your mom says, what's your show called again? It's called Maggie's Market. It's on a streaming website called Yippee TV. Yeah, yippee.tv. That's what it is called. And so that is essentially, that's essentially the show that I'm doing. It's basically for young kids. It is kind of a faith-based kind of show. You know, we kind of talk a little bit about God and like Bible verse and what have you. So that's kind of what is, you know, that's what the show is essentially. It's not heavily religious, you know what I mean? Which is what I like about it. It's not like every freaking second of the show we're constantly talking about like, oh, God says this and God says that, because that can be a little bit too much, you know what I mean? It's a good, it's a good, what am I trying to say? It's a good balance, I think. So it's, so yeah, so it's pretty cool, to be honest, you know, like, so I definitely enjoy that. Virginia Lake says, hey again, I am on my way out. Sorry that I will miss your live stream. Oh, no worries, no worries. I saw you earlier in the Mondo's live stream, and I will definitely be in his stream again tonight, because I definitely want to see more of his live stream, and I want to see him live streaming Mickey's Mixed Magic as well. So if you're still here, Virginia Lake, I will definitely see you there in that stream. Yeah, but thanks for stopping by anyway. Again, it is always a pleasure having you. So yeah, thanks for stopping by anyway. But yeah, excuse me. Blue, the Sabertooth Rat says, is it a preschool show? Yes, it is a preschool show. Essentially, yes, it is. But it's a fun show. It's a fun show, you know, like it's kind of, it's kind of slightly akin to, Virginia Lake says, note to self, watch Maggie's Market. Congrats on the show. Thank you. Yeah, I hope you can, you know, check it out when, you know, if you, have the chance to. It is on yippee.tv. You can find it there. And you don't necessarily have to pay for this, for a subscription to view it. If anything, like they do have a 30-day free trial, so that could give you like plenty of time to watch like any episode that you that I'm in. It's plenty of time to see any of the shows that any of the episodes that I'm in. So, you know, yeah. And then you could do it again, probably, for when season 2 comes out, which is most likely going to be next year. So, yeah. So, hopefully you do get to be able to check that out. I have to share that I'm doing season 2 with more people on my Facebook. I have not updated my Facebook in a long time. So, yeah. But anyway, yes. But yeah, to answer, who's the question? Oh yeah, Blue, the Sabertooth Rat. It is a preschool show. What I was going to say was that in some ways, it is kind of akin to that of Blue's Clues, I think, because there are like certain moments where we do kind of like talk to the audience essentially, and we're kind of like listening to the kids and yada yada yada, but it's not like the entire show, you know what I mean? And also I say it's kind of akin to it mainly because of the fact that we're doing a we're doing like most of the show just fully on a green screen, and that's kind of how I kind of see it. And it's a development kind of show, you know what I mean? It you know, so it's somewhat similar. It's not exactly like Blue's Clues, you know what I mean? But it is kind of similar. And also, if you see, hold on, Virginia Lake says, great, I'll see you there, bye for now. Yes, I'll see you later tonight, Virginia Lake. See you later on Five Fires. Fire it down. Yeah, but, again, continuing, if you even take a look at my, costume, right? I kind of have, and this was not necessarily on purpose, but we kind of make jokes about it a little bit. But like I have like a logo on my suit to make it look like I'm a zookeeper, because that's my character. And and the hat on my like chest and also like all over my pants, I have like literally a blue paw print. So it kind of looks like Blue's paw print for when she, you know, like, it looks like Blue's Clues paw print, you know what I mean? That's not what we were trying to, we weren't, you know what I mean? We weren't trying to copy that, obviously, but it looks similar to that. It's blue and everything, you know what I mean? But yeah. So, yeah, but that's kind of how I see it, and that's kind of how we, like, say it as well. It's like, it's almost kind of akin to Blue's Clues. And also, like, when we created this show, well, I obviously I wasn't the one that's creating it. Like, I'm just an actor, but I kind of, you know, somewhat close to the director, because he's an awesome guy, and we kind of talk, you know, we talk a lot when we're doing the filming, and he kind of gives me a little behind the scenes of, like, how the show came about, and da-da-da-da-da. And, like, what he basically said is that we're creating a show that is not talking down to children. That was something that he was adamantly against. And I like that, you know what I mean? Like, when I take a look at, like, the writing, you know what I mean? Like, I think for a kid's show, for a preschool show, the writing is pretty good in terms of how the characters are, like, how my character is because my character is kind of like a scaredy cat, and overall, I mean, throughout the course of like certain episodes, he starts getting more and more brave and blah blah blah, and it's kind of like a whole thing there. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, like it's an awesome type of show, and I enjoy doing it. I flipping enjoy doing it. So I'm absolutely 100% happy to be a part of that. So yeah, but yes, that is why I've been busy last week, because I've been doing 4 episodes of that of the current filming schedule for that. We did 6 episodes. We did 6 filming days, but I was only there for 4 days, and yeah, so and I'm kind of like the co-star of the show. Like, I'm not the main character, but I am a main character, if that makes sense. So I mean, obviously the show's called Maggie's Market. The main character's Maggie. I'm not Maggie, obviously. So so yeah, but yeah, that's essentially everything that's going on and why I've been gone for a while. And again, this particular week, I excuse me, this particular week, I just kind of laid low for the most part. I didn't particularly what am I trying to say? I didn't particularly do anything. I kind of just like laid low, let my body kind of recharge, because like there's a lot of things that I'm doing, like I'm also singing songs in the show, so that means that I'm dancing. There's certain effects that we have to do where I have to like legitimately lay on the green screen, because it is kind of like a full stage green screen. It's not just like on the walls, but it's also like on the floor as well. So sometimes, basically to make it feel like when we're stepping onto that green screen, they can fully transport us into this real life / cartoonish kind of world. You know what I mean? Because it's like real backgrounds that they use, but also, yeah, it's like real backgrounds that they use, but they also have like, kind of like cartoon type of drawings and whatnot. So it is pretty cool. Kawaii Life Antonio says Yippee Kids TV also has 3-2-1 penguins. I guess they have a deal with Big Idea. Yeah, honestly, I will mention this. The place that I'm not gonna exactly say where I film the show, but where I do film, like with the studio where I do film at, they actually do have VeggieTales there, right? And that's actually like the building that I go to. They actually animate and work on VeggieTales right there. So when I go into the studio, I kind of see like, I guess, the room where they animate VeggieTales, and it's the coolest thing. It's the coolest thing to see, because that's a childhood show for me. Like I grew up watching VeggieTales. You know what I mean? So that's kind of big for me to be like, wow, I'm actually here where they work on VeggieTales, right? So yeah, and they're kind of proud of it, So yeah, it's definitely very, very freaking cool. But yeah, so either way, it's a lot of work when it comes to doing that show, and I definitely need to get back in shape, because there was hold on, Northwestern Railway 66 says, I didn't know you were in a show, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I've kind of talked about it a little bit last year, because I did the first season, but I'm kind of a bit more open to talk about it now since the show is out there. It's not like I have to write any sort of NDAs and be like, oh, I can't talk too much about anything and blah blah blah. It's advised that I don't say too much, of course, but they're fairly open about allowing me to talk about the show, and like even sharing like certain behind the scenes pictures or footage, because while we were filming, like me and the other co-stars, because we also have like a lot of guest stars that come onto the show as well, playing like different characters, like new characters that come in every episode, because we kind of essentially kind of like try to help out some of these characters. They may need help with something, and then we try to go onto this adventure to find what they need and try to help them with their whatever it is they have, So again, pretty good premise. But me and the other co-stars, like, we filmed and took pictures of a lot of backstage stuff. I mean, well, backstage, but behind the scenes stuff, because I do want to kind of compile that into a reel for my Instagram eventually. I'll probably later on or something, but that is going to happen probably like closer to when that season actually premieres. I'll probably post it on Instagram. But but yeah, like, they allow us, I mean, of course they're gonna allow us to take pictures, but if I wanted to post a picture of if I want to post a picture of, like, me being on the green screen, or a video of me doing, like, a certain scene on the green screen, I can, you know. I'm not going to right now because I don't want to spoil anything, of course, but you know, that's essentially, you know, so they're kind of very lax when it comes to that, I guess you can say. So again, it's cool. It's a very cool gig. And also, it pays well. I'd say the pay is almost kind of close, at least, like, daily rate, I would say. It's almost kind of close to that of a regular union show. So that's also pretty cool, too. So I make some good money within a week filming that show. You know what I mean? So it's pretty awesome. So, yeah. I get paid for doing the table read. I get paid for going into the studio to sing the songs for when we do our songs, and I obviously get paid to be in it. So, and that's actually, I almost said that's my first acting gig where I did get paid to do something. It's not. It's my third, I think. Yeah, I think it's my third paid acting gig. And honestly, when you're an actor, like, that's kind of like the biggest goal, somewhat. I think one of the biggest goals is when you're an actor is you kind of want that to be your living. And so if you're able to essentially, like, do what you love but also get paid to do it, that's pretty awesome, of course. And you're living the dream. You're living the dream, you know? Like, if you want to be a cook and you're able to get paid to do what you love, of course you're gonna, you know, that's going to make you very happy. Or say, if I am into photography, right? But let's say that I wanted photography to also earn me a living. If I had the ability to essentially take photos of people, or kind of like be a photographer, a professional photographer, and you know, I start making a living based off of that, then you're happy, you know what I mean? Like, you want things where it seems as though it's possibly a hobby, like even art, you know? Like, if you're able to do something that is kind of a hobby, but you also want to be able to try to make a living off of it, or at least try to make some sort of money off of your hobby, then you're kind of doing pretty damn good. You know what I mean? That's kind of the goal for almost everybody, I would have to say. Wouldn't surprise me, of course, because, you know, you can only do a hobby for so long. It's just that eventually you do have to make some money doing it. You know, you know what I mean? You would much rather have that be your way to make money instead of a crummy job. You know what I mean? So there you go. But yeah, so that's about all I have to say in regards to that show. I know it was a very long-winded answer as to why I have not been posting recently. But yeah, in fact, you know, I almost went live. Was it no, not last Saturday. I almost went live last Sunday, but I had to pick up my dog from the dog hospital. Wow, no, I had to pick up my dog from the doggy hotel because I can't leave her at the house for more than 9 hours, or maybe more than 8 hours. Yeah, at most I'd leave her home alone for like 9 hours. That's the farthest I'm willing to leave her at the house by herself, right? And so I can't, you know, if I'm doing the show and I'm gone for like practically like almost 14 hours or 13 hours or so while I'm doing the show, because it also takes me like almost an hour to get to where I'm filming. So like I have to put her in a dog hotel while I'm doing the show for the entire week. So that's an expense, but it's a whole thing. it's a lot, you know? So in fact, I'm actually going to put her back in the dog hotel again this coming Thursday, because on Friday, I go back to Disneyland for the whole day, for the entire day. And it's going to be Christmas time for them. And I'm very, 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 very excited for that. Like, I'm counting down the days of when I get to go back to Disneyland. You guys have absolutely no idea how much I love that place. I have a lot of issues with it, mainly with, like, how the management does things with the park sometimes. But the park itself, and, you know, it's awesome. And during Christmas, it's, like, one of the best times to be at Disneyland. And so I am 100% looking forward to that. I'm thinking of doing a vlog. I'm actually kind of like trying to prep myself to do somewhat of a vlog for Disneyland. I'm not going to do it here. Okay, I'm not going to do it here because I don't really post vlogs here. If you guys don't know, I have another channel, right? Kawaii Life Antonio says, that's cool, Josh. I hope you have fun there for the holidays. I know I will. I'm going to have some annoyances as well because, let's face it, some people are so stupid. But yeah, I know I'm going to definitely have a lot of fun. And so I'm very, very excited for it. But again, I do have another channel. In fact, I think I'm going to look for it very quickly. There we go. I think I got it. Yep. Yeah, so I do have, oh, and I definitely need to change that photo. That photo was from almost 10 years ago. And I don't even have that hat anymore. That even makes it more depressing. Yeah, but let me go ahead and post the channel, and I'll probably pin it too. Like, if you guys want to check that, the channel essentially is kind of like my vlog channel, right? And I essentially pin it, replace pin message. Yeah. So that's my vlog channel. And, if you guys want to check it out, you can. I basically kind of post, you know, either videos of me talking about theme parks or, me being at theme parks. You know, I've done like a couple of vlogs there. I'm not the greatest at vlogging, but I'm going to try to change that this Friday. Right. But yeah, that's kind of where I want to post that video, you know, because Disneyland vlog is not really right for this channel. This channel is us talking about animation, you know what I mean? We talk about animation news and sometimes Cartoon Network news, which to be honest, I don't really want to talk about Cartoon Network anymore. As time is going, oh wow, I'm looking in the wrong I'm so used to looking at oh sweet, I just subbed to your other channel. Thank you so much, I appreciate that. But yeah, I'm used to looking at the webcam now. But yeah, essentially where was I at? Okay, well, you know what, let's just say this, all right? I want to kind of bring that channel back alive because I haven't posted it in like a while. I haven't posted in that channel for a long time. You know what I mean? It's been over a year since I last posted on that channel. And so I kind of want to go back to it, right? Actually, and I just remembered what I was just saying. But yeah, I kind of want to go back to posting more over there, whether it be like I'm talking about theme park news or I'm actually at a theme park. And, you know, I'm able to vlog and do some stuff over there too. So, yeah. So if you guys want to check out that channel and, you know, also support me there, you can go to the link that I have pinned in the chat right now. And, yeah, and also check out some of the videos that I posted there too, as well. But yeah, like regardless, coming back to Regularjosh1, I don't really want to talk about Cartoon Network at this current moment in time because, like, I just, it's just not, I don't know. It's just getting tiring. You know what I mean? I mean, like, I don't want to continue to seem like I'm hopeful for the channel when, just truth be told, you know, since we're live streaming and we're talking with each other right now, I'll just go out and say it. I don't have much hope for this channel as of right now. I don't like how things are looking, you know what I mean? And I tend to want to be positive on my channel. And of course, I do rant, you know what I mean? Like, I'll if I'm not necessarily happy about something, you know, I'll make a video about it and I'll talk about it, right? But I've done that a little bit too much with Cartoon Network recently, and I just don't want to do another video where I'm complaining about it and I'm saying the same thing over and over and over again. You know, I just don't want to do that anymore. So as of right now, like, Cartoon Network is not necessarily on my radar of things to talk about anymore, but that obviously can change. Like, if there's any sort of news that comes out, like, maybe there is also a schedule update or something. Maybe there's an update on where Cartoonito is going or whatever, you know, or something. I don't know. But, like, other than that, like, I think when it comes to, you know, Cartoon Network as a whole, it's kind of like, yeah, I'm getting worn out. I'm just getting worn out. So that's kind of where things are right now, you know. I could talk about, like, and also, I'll be honest, I do have a little bit of a roadblock-ish, I think, as to what I technically want to talk about when it comes to, you know, this channel sometimes. Because I feel like there hasn't been, like, a bunch of news in the animation world recently. At least news that I feel like I could talk about on this channel. You know what I mean? Because obviously, as you know, I kind of keep things really centered more around, like, say, the family channels, like Cartoon Network, maybe Disney Channel, and Nickelodeon for the most part. Like, I kind of keep things there. Like, I'm not going to talk about South Park. I could, but, like, it's, you know, it doesn't really fit the channel. I don't talk about Family Guy. I don't talk about The Simpsons. I don't, you know, stuff like that. And I possibly, I guess, could branch out to those things, but, like, at the same time, I don't watch too much of The Simpsons. I don't watch too much of Family Guy. I watch more American Dad, though. And I do watch South Park. I love South Park. But yeah, so it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. But yeah, so you know how things are, like, in terms of basically, or sometimes I do talk about, like, stuff going on with, like, what's the Netflix sometimes, you know, or sometimes I'll talk about streaming services, blah, 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 blah. You know, it's the whole thing. I feel like there's not too much news going on. And as somebody mentioned, Drew mentioned because of the strike. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I could always do, like, some sort of, updated video when it comes to talking about the strike, which, if anything, I'll probably do it when the actor strike ends. I don't know when that's going to be. I don't think anybody knows when that's going to be right now. We're kind of surprised that it still is going on. You know, because I thought that after the writers, excuse me, I thought that after the writers got their deal with the studios, that soon afterwards, the actors were going to get a deal. But surprisingly, no, the actors are still on strike, which I think is incredibly stupid for the studios to not make a deal with the actors. Because, yeah, you got the writers back. The writers are able to go back to doing certain shows, like mainly like late night TV shows and whatnot, and all that stuff. I think they can also go back to commercials, or were they still able to work on commercials? I don't fully remember. But, you know, they can go back to working on things, right? Writing scripts and whatnot. But you literally can't do anything if you don't have actors. You can't. And if you guys literally think that you can replace all of these actors with AI, that's not going to work, because nobody wants AI replacements. Okay, some idiots definitely want AI replacements because they're soulless, but you're not going to catch a lot of people that are going to want to watch a movie or a television show where all of the actors are CGI voice acted by AI. Nobody freaking wants that. You know what I mean? And they're losing a crap ton of money because they're not able to put video. They're not able to continue making movies in order to make a profit. There's some movies that are still able to obviously be put into the theaters, but, you know, it's kind of rare for it's kind of rare to see a lot of movies kind of like releasing nowadays, I think, because of the strike again. And also, like, I think some of them kind of delay them because they also want that big buzz for the movies to get. Like, it's you want to be able to have, like, that red carpet where you have the stars all going to see the movie, and, you know, they're kind of talking about it and yada 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 like that. I think that does kind of create big buzz for a film. And excuse me, considering the fact that they can't do that right now because of the strikes, you know, I think some of the movies have been kind of like delayed, you know, because of that. So it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing right now. It's so I might have to think about something when it comes to this channel. In fact, actually, let me kind of bring this up. Again, I can't particularly bring it up on my channel. I mean, on this stream, but I actually kind of found a video, not a video, a movie that I can watch on YouTube. And oh man, it's in vein of A Legend of Kung Fu Rabbit. And I didn't get the chance to really see a lot of it, but I saw a part of the movie. It's made by the same, well, I don't think it's made by the same company, but at least like the same people who I guess like funds these films or something. I don't fully remember. But when I saw the movie, or when I saw it, like when I found it on YouTube, I had to click on a little bit and I was like, okay, I might have to watch this movie. It's called I think I said it. It's called The Adventures of Panda Warrior. Yeah. Is it another ripoff of Kung Fu Panda? I think so. So I'm not saying I'm going to do a movie review of that one. I don't know if I will or if I won't, to be incredibly honest with you, but yeah, I found it. I'm intrigued because I saw like the first 2 minutes of it and oh, it looks gloriously bad. And it's like, okay, I might be in for a real treat. So I might definitely be checking out that movie eventually. And so again, I don't want to really say much. Excuse me. I don't really necessarily want to say much about it. Or I don't exactly want to say much in the sense of, oh, I'm definitely going to do a movie review of it or something, but, it's a possibility. You know what I mean? That's the most that I probably will say, is that it is a possibility, to possibly, do that, you know? I don't know. So we'll see. But I'm not going to make any promises, but that would still be a video to do, you know? So yeah, because it would be kind of interesting. Because again, for a while, like I've done 3 videos, right? I've done the Legend of Kung Fu Rabbit movie review. I think that was one of the first ones I've done. Actually, technically I did 4, or actually technically I did 5. But so I did that one. Then I did Kung Fu Rabbit 2, which was significantly a much better movie than the first one. I have no idea how that happened, but it was a much better movie. And then I did Agent Fox. That was the whole thing. Whew, Agent Fox. Wow. And then I did An Ant's Life. You guys remember that video? I did An Ant's Life. And then Marmaduke. Now Marmaduke obviously is not a ripoff, but Marmaduke, actually 6. Oh my god. So Marmaduke is technically not a ripoff movie, but it's a bad adaptation. It's a bad animated film. You know what I mean? And so technically I'm gonna count that. So that's 5. And 6, Pinocchio, A True Story. I completely forgot about that one, but I did a review of that one. So if I do a review of the adventure, what is it called again? Hold on a second. What is it called again? Yeah, The Adventures of Panda Warrior. And if I have a lot to say about it, that would be my 7th bad animated movie review. You know what I mean? So it's a possibility. Again, it's kind of like in, I wouldn't say in the spirit of my channel, but again, I've done a couple of videos like this, and so maybe I do another one. I have to run it through Gary the editor, aka Alex, because I don't know if that would be something he would want me to do, right? Because sometimes I come up with certain ideas, and then he's kind of like, oh, I don't know if you should do that, mainly because he may not necessarily want to go through the torture that is not animating, but editing said video. Because obviously, if I'm reviewing a very bad movie, he has to kind of watch the movie as well, right? And he also, and and sometimes he'll find a bad movie, and then he'll kind of say, hey, you may want to check this movie out, man, for a video. And so I check it out, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm making a review on this. Yeah, so it's funny sometimes. That's kind of how it happened with Scoob, right? I did not like the movie Scoob at all, right? But he watched the movie first, and then he told me just how bad it was, and he knew I was gonna hate the movie. And so I watched it, and yeah, I hated Scoob. So it was like, yep, I'm doing a video review of it. So yeah. So honestly, I think I'm gonna do. Again, I'm not making any promises. I could make a video review of the Adventures of Panda Warrior, but I don't know. But I think it would be kind of fun to do another animated movie review like that. I should do some more, honestly, but the thing is, I don't watch a lot of movies. Like I used to watch way more. Hold on a sec. I used to do like way more, like watch way more movies back in like I say, like even a few years ago, but I kind of just fell out of watching movies. I can't really say why, but like it's just not, not a thing that that I'm really, it's just not a thing that I do. Yeah. So that is definitely a possibility. Oh, speaking of videos, I don't think, because it does premiere next weekend, the Valiant Prince Ivandoe, I don't think I'm gonna do a review of that show. And the reason why is because, like, I don't think I'm gonna necessarily care all that much for, I don't think I'm gonna necessarily care all that much about particularly making a video, or no, I don't think I'm gonna care all that much to really watch the show, I mean, I don't know, I mean, because I'm basing this purely on when I saw, like, some of the, when I saw, like, the, what am I trying to say? I'm basing this purely on when I saw, like, some of the shorts before it was turned into an actual series, right? When I looked at the shorts, that they posted of Valiant Prince Ivandoe, it just was not my thing. I couldn't really get into it, And for me, like, with this new series, I don't think I'm gonna really enjoy Valiant Prince Ivandoe, to be honest. I don't know. I'm gonna still try to check it out. I'm gonna still check it out next weekend, but I just don't necessarily, I don't think it's gonna be a show I'm gonna really care for. You know what I mean? Unfortunately. So that may not be a show that I check out and do a review of. I haven't really done a lot of, like, reviews of cartoon shows recently anyway, so, like, that shouldn't really be a surprise to anybody at this point. So, I should do some more reviews, but I don't know. Maybe the review bug in terms of, like, doing television shows is just not there. I don't know. I almost did a review of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Like, I was thinking about it. I had some good thoughts in my mind that said, ooh, okay, I know what to say here. I know what to talk about. I know what, like, opinions I can mention when it comes to the show, and da-da-da-da-da. But I just never did it. You know what I mean? And, like, I don't think I'm going to, because I think it's, like, a little too, like, the show's already done in terms of season 1. So it's, I don't know. It's a whole thing. But yeah, so it's, yeah, I don't know, but it's a whole thing. I would also not recommend Fairview, as that is just abysmal. Fairview, that sounds familiar, but I'm not sure what that is. Is it? No, that's not. Oh no, that's a completely different side. I don't know. Isn't Fairview the show with the Weebles with the real life heads? I don't know. I can't think of. I can't remotely think of what Fairview. It sounds familiar for some reason, but I just can't think of what that is. So you might have to kind of re-jog my memory. But yeah, so I think that's roughly about all I have to say. As Fairview is a political animated show that has horrendous satire and hideous animation. Okay, now I have to look that up. Okay, because I'm kind of stuck on it right now. Because I know I've heard of it. I just can't think of. I just can't think of what. Oh, that's Fairview. Oh yeah. No. Okay. Now I know what that is. Because I was like, wait a minute. I have heard of it before. That's why I can't think of it, because it's dead. Like, the show hasn't aired in a long time, and for good reason. Like, I haven't seen an episode of it. I couldn't. Like, it was a bunch of annoying ass people just kind of talking. They're kind of just talking like this the whole time. Like, they were kind of yelling, and it's like, oh my God, it's freaking insane. It's like, God, it's annoying. And it's crazy how, like, shows like that try incredibly hard to be funny, and then they just turn out to be terrible. It's really amazing. I don't understand how you can mess that up, but that's the thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, Kawaii Life Antonio says, thank goodness it's canceled. Agreed. I don't have to see a damn lick of it anymore. You know, because they tried to, like, I guess they tried to make it seem as though, oh, hey, if you like South Park, you're gonna love Fairview. And it's like, no. Okay? Like, South Park is actually good. Okay? Fairview is not a good show. Okay? I haven't seen an entire episode of it, and I never, ever want to see an entire episode of it. It is not a good show. It's not funny. It is hellishly annoying. So, No, it is not anything like South Park. South Park may not be the perfect show all the time, okay? But, no. Oh, man. But now my question that I have to ask, that I just came up with, is, what would I rather watch? What would I rather torture myself watching? Would I rather watch an entire episode of Velma or an entire episode of Fairview? I don't think I have an answer for that, but to be incredibly honest with you, I think I would much rather watch Fairview, because that show is probably not nearly as frustrating as Velma is, because no, I'm trying to keep it PG here, okay? But I'm just gonna say F Velma. That is a terrible goddamn show. I could not sit through 5 minutes. Through 5 minutes of Velma, okay? The first episode, I just tried watching it because I was like, okay, screw it. I'm gonna just see what the hell, whatever the hell people say. I can't even say it. But I'm going to see what people are talking about and blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, I know Velma's going to be terrible, but can it really be that bad? Like, in the first minute of the show, they show 2 cockroaches having sex with each other. And it's like that's your level of comedy. You're going to show 2 cockroaches on the floor of the girls' locker room, and you're gonna just show 2 cockroaches having sex with each other. That's what your level of comedy is. Yeah. So, that already set the bar hellishly low, and it was like, nope, 5 minutes are up, I'm done, I'm gone. Let me just say that when I get visibly infuriated or visibly pissed or like just cringe so hard that it literally takes a lot out of me, you know the show's bad, okay? Like you know the show's bad. So yeah, it is not. No, absolutely not. Yeah, it's honestly, it's crazy how there's a lot of like shows for adults out there where um it's a lot of shows where it's like animated shows for adults, and they seem way more immature than a lot of the shows that you tend to see for family. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to necessarily say shows for kids, excuse me, but a lot of shows that you see for families out there seems to be more, usually better animated than most shows that are only for adults, but also just tend to have sometimes better comedy, better writing, better storytelling. Like, it's kind of interesting how that works, Again, not all of them, and again, same for adult shows. Not every single one of them are garbage, but a lot of them kind of just have like the same kind of feel to it. And I don't know, I find it to be like incredibly freaking weird to me, like for whatever reason, it's just kind of the same thing for all of these shows. It is so weird. It's something says Gumball is more mature than most animated adult comedies. Crazy how that works. Crazy how that works. I have no idea, but that's freaking nuts. But yeah, it's strange to me, Because I don't know, like, I feel as if Northwestern Railway says, unless you're King of the Hill, really. Yeah, I mean, like, I feel as if, like, they want to try to separate themselves from kids. Again, I don't want to say kid cartoons, but just family animated shows in general. Or sometimes movies, right? They want to separate themselves so much that, like, they say, all right, let's be incredibly edgy. Let's have them talk about sex all the time. Let's talk about them having, drinking and getting high and puking all over the place and just cussing every freaking moment they can and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, this is definitely a show for adults. It's like, it's crazy. I'm not a fan of that, okay? Like, even though South Park kind of does that, but they do it in such a way where it's clever and where it's actually funny. You know what I mean? Like, they have some gory moments, or they're incredibly fucking my bad. Wow. Did not mean to say that. So excuse me. I try to keep things PG and I failed again. Anyway, I would say that we're all adults here, but no, I know some of you guys are still in high school, but you're in high school. You guys cuss. So, yeah. But what was the other thing I was going to mention when it comes to South Park? They're goofy, like incredibly loony sometimes, mainly like in the first few seasons. In the first few seasons, they are like insane. Like, they're like, some of the things that I see is like, how are they coming up with this stuff? It's nuts. Right? But yeah, that's why they've been able to last for almost 30 years, like they just have the right formula somehow, and so, like, and again, they're not perfect all the time. I think like their later seasons, like, they haven't been the greatest. Like, in the later seasons, there's, I would say, way more like bad episodes than say in the first seasons. I think, I don't know, like, I don't know. I mean, I think recently, like, say, maybe last year, well, actually, no, earlier this year when they had, like, their 26th? Was it their 26th season? Damn, I don't know. But either way, like, I think they had, like, more good episodes than bad ones. But, it's like, again, not every single episode is, like, really amazing. There's some where it's just either confusing or they're trying to be funny, but it's just not working, or I don't know. It's a whole thing, though. But regardless, though, South Park, Kawaii says South Park went more political. They did. And sometimes they do it right, and sometimes they do not do it right. So, yeah, but again, I think, like, they're kind of probably one of the few examples of adult cartoons where, like, while they do a lot of cussing, or they do a lot of, like, sex jokes, or they do some graphic humor or dark humor or whatever, they still manage to find a way to make all that stuff hilarious. You know what I mean? I can't fully explain. Like, if Gary the editor was here right now, he probably would be able to explain it a whole lot more. He is like a nerd when it comes to South Park. Like, so many times he always, like, will send me, like, say maybe a clip from South Park, like a silly random clip or a picture, and he always or sometimes what I will do is kind of send him a video of South Park, and then, or a picture of South Park, right? Like, literally one frame from one random episode, and I'll be like, hey, guess which episode that is, and like 99% of the time he guesses it right off the bat. That's how much he's into South Park, and I'm like, damn, I don't even know if I can do that for SpongeBob. You know what I mean? But I think if he was here, he'd be able to explain more as to why South Park works, where sometimes a lot of other adult animated shows don't. You know what I mean? So it's a whole thing. Yeah, I think that's about it when it comes down to it. Blue, the Sabretooth Rat, says Primal is a good example of what adult animation should be. I think so. I mean, I haven't watched a lot of Primal. I don't think it's personally my thing. I will say that it is definitely interesting, and I think that's probably just something that Gendy Teratovsky, I think that's just something that he does really well, is that you don't necessarily need a bunch of, like, dialogue or any dialogue to really tell a story, and that's essentially what Primal, at least from what I've seen. I've only seen, like, maybe a couple of episodes, or, again, I haven't seen the entire thing, but as far as I know, Primal doesn't really have much, if any, dialogue in the show at all, and they're still able to tell, like, a pretty good story, so I think that's, like, really cool. Not a lot of people can really do that. It's kind of a difficult thing to do, right? But I think he does a pretty good job. And yeah, I have to agree there. Like, I think that's definitely a good example of what, adult animation should be, Like, it doesn't need to be edgy, you know what I mean? It just has to be, I guess, a little bit more mature, you know what I mean? And, like, some of the topics and what have you, and some of the writing and whatnot, If they can do that for other types of shows, and I don't know why the same can't happen when it comes to animated shows, So that's my personal opinion. Gendy is a mastermind when it comes to animation. Yeah, he does a really good job of animation. Did Alex make a review of Unicorn Warriors Eternal I think he did. Yeah, I think he did. And I definitely enjoyed that show. I can't wait for season 2 to come out. Like, that's something I'm very excited for. Because I'm interested to see, like, where things go when it comes to that. So that's definitely going to be, like, very interesting when it comes to season 2. But yeah. Now, he is coming out with a movie, I think sometime next year, and I completely forgot what it was called. But it has to do with dogs, and I don't know. I think it has something to do with them getting, like, neutered or spayed or something. I don't know which one is either way, he gets, one of the dogs are, like, getting fixed or something, and I don't know. It looks weird to me, only because literally the movie's poster is of a dog, I guess, with, like, kind of like with, like, a sensor bar where his ball should be or something like that, and it's so weird. It's kind of, and I remember reading, like, an article about it. It's like, oh, it's a heartwarming movie and so yada yada yada, and I'm like, it's a heartwarming movie? Are you sure about that? Like, it's strange, but I don't know. We'll just have to see what it's going to be when it comes to that movie coming out, or well, when we see trailers about it eventually. So yeah. All right. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's about everything that I have to say. If there's any questions, we can do a Q&A. We can do a Q&A. We always do a Q&A when we do these streams. That's essentially what these streams are, you know what I mean? So yeah, if you got any questions you want to ask, I may not be able to answer every single one of them. So yeah, and I do ask to not spam any questions if I don't get to you or whatever, and so yeah, but if you have questions to ask, or if there's certain topics you may want to talk about in the chat, let me know. If I have any knowledge or any say in what you bring up and blah, 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 then I'll answer it. You know the whole thing. Your mom says, well, speaking of an animated, adult animated show, I also want to make my own adult animated series one day. Any advice? I don't really have much advice in that realm because I don't make my own shows. But I don't know. That's a good question. Like, I wish Gary the editor, again, aka Alex, I wish he was here in the chat right now, because he would be more of the person to ask in terms of how you could, like, or give advice to making any shows, because he does a lot of his own drawings, right? And he also wants to be an animator. He's trying to like make some of his own animated shorts and whatnot. I mean, he's done a couple before, but he's trying to make some more right now, and so, yeah, I think he would be, like, the better person to ask, because I haven't really, really tried my hand at, like, writing any scripts or anything, you know what I mean? So, there's not, as far as I can say, I don't think I have much advice in that realm, unfortunately, or anything that would be able to that I would be able to help with. You know what I mean? I also have another friend. He's been on this channel before, named Javon. He also is wanting to make a couple of, like, not animated shows, but he's wanting to create like his own short film and whatnot. And so he would also kind of be a little better. He's not on this channel anymore, obviously. That was years ago. But, and speaking of Gary the editor, there he is, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, so you just joined. Basically somebody was kind of asking me, an advice on, somebody was, asking me, or your mom, not your actual mom, Gary, but you know that. Of course she would not be here. But, yeah, he was asking essentially, like, he wants to make his own animated series, and he was asking advice essentially on, how he would go on about doing that. And I'm not the person that has advice on it, but yeah, I was kind of basically referring him to you, saying you probably are more versed at, giving advice and whatnot, so yeah, maybe you could answer that for him in the chat. Maybe not. I don't know. It's probably going to be something that I could have easily said, be like, oh yeah, I could have said that, but I just couldn't think of it in my mind right now. So yeah, but, again, because I'm not making my own show. I certainly could, but like, I just don't, I tend to not really have that much like inspiration to create a show, I guess. And I've never really like written a script for okay, technically I have written a script for a show, but that was years and years and years ago when I did. If you guys have been, let me preface this by saying, if you guys have been on this channel since the very, very beginning, you guys may remember that I did a weird Pokemon-ish kind of series called Crazy Cartoons. And it was literally just pictures of Pokemon and me doing voice acting at the time. So a lot of that was improvised, but sometimes I also wrote scripts for that particular like series, which yeah, I'm pretty sure nobody in the chat probably remembers those kind of videos. They're down, they're privated because they're very embarrassing. All right, I would rather nobody ever sees those kind of videos again because man, are they cringy. But yeah. So that's essentially, that's essentially the situation, I guess. I have technically written a script, but no, I haven't done it before. I haven't done it in a way where it would be like a legitimate, serious, actual story. You know what I mean? So it's something I could try. I have written some stories before, like I did, and this is also something that I had on my channel once before. I did like my very first my very first like written story called like The Psycho Side of Jason. Also pretty cringeworthy, and of course when I was a teenager at the time, I was weirdly edgy. It wasn't like I was cussing or doing anything yada yada yada, but there was like a something that I did where it's kind of like, yeah, that was a little weird. So I think I wrote that when I was in sophomore year in high school. So yeah. I did that. I also did I did two other stories. There was one that I actually wanted to publish because I felt like very good about like what the story would be, and like, oh, if I wrote it really well, I think I could, I think it would be like a great like novel for kids or something, blah blah blah. I don't know. I still think the story would be pretty cool, to be published, but I just never went back to writing it. Like I was hellishly focused on writing that story when I was in high school. But because it even went through like a lot of rewrites when I was like writing some of like the chapters and everything. But again, I just kind of stopped, you know what I mean? And so I don't really know, if that's something that I would particularly go back to, I kind of could. I have like, I like kind of thinking about it. It would be like new ideas, I think, or I would have new ideas for it and how the story would kind of unfold, how the character would get from there to there and yada, yada, yada. You know what I mean? But like, I don't know. It's just not, I think it's just not necessarily something that I want to do as of right now. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's a whole thing. I mean, even like trying to create a short film or something, I'm not really sure if that would fully be something that I would want to do right now. I've always wanted to, but like I just don't have many ideas or many creative ideas where it's like, oh, that would be a great idea to create this, to make this into a short film. You know what I mean? I don't have that creative, I don't have like the creative juices flowing in my head in that way. You know what I mean? So, Alex does. He comes up with ideas almost all the time, but I'm not the most creative thinker as of right now in terms of coming up with stories I want to tell, or even like writing songs, right? Because I also want to like create songs as well. Like I kind of want to try to do that because I am a singer. But that's also kind of difficult to do because it's like, well, shoot, what do I sing about? I wouldn't know what to sing about or what to write about to put in a song. You know what I mean? Like it's not easy. It's not easy. So I don't really focus my time on any of those things. I kind of focus my time on other stuff, mainly kind of just being an actor because that's what I'm, I think that's kind of like what I'm mostly good at in terms of what myself is necessarily doing. But that's kind of, the whole situation, I guess, but that's kind of where I focus my main, like, energy in, for the most part, is being an actor. You know what I mean? And being a singer too. Yeah, like I do sing a lot, you know. But yeah, but that's where my level, I guess, of expertise is. So yeah. And you know, speaking of that, I was going to what am I trying to say? I was going to do like a Halloween style podcast, like, or not podcast. I was going to do like a Halloween kind of like, I guess you could say, radio drama, if that makes sense. You know, like I was going to do something like that for this channel. It would have probably only been like 5 minutes. But again, during that week, I was just too tired to do anything. I did not want to write anything. I didn't even want to go up into the closet so I can record the audio for the video, for any video, you know what I mean? Because I do record it in the closet, because that has like, because there's like a bunch of clothes in there, like there's barely any reverb, so it has like very clean audio. I can get very clean audio in there, and that's kind of what you're looking for if you're doing, you know, a bunch of stuff. But yeah, like I didn't even want to do any of that. And even like when it came to the weekend of Halloween, you know what I mean? I almost essentially said, oh, you know what? I'm going to do a video where it is still that audio drama kind of thing. And obviously Alex was going to edit it, because he's done a couple of like audio dramas, I guess you can say, where you know, he kind of edits essentially where he kind of, you know, like obviously he edits like his audio and kind of does the sound effects and blah 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 blah. He does a really good job at sound mixing in that regard, you know. So I would have had him do it. But again, I was just too tired. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna not do it. You know? So it was, and also I kind of somewhat struggled on like what I wanted the concept to be anyway. So it's a whole thing. But yeah. So it's yeah. I will be right back, actually. Gonna take a tiny little break. But don't go anywhere. I will be back, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, we have been live for about an hour and 18 minutes. Okay, so yeah, we will be right back. Just want to, you know, take just a tiny little break, and, yeah, so do not go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I'll be right back. Hold it on. Alright, did not mean for that weird transition to happen, but it is what it is. We are live! We are live, so S happens. But it is what it is. Alright, so I am back. So again, anybody, you got any type of questions and blah, 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 let me know. Anything you guys want to chat about, let me know. Let's see. Alright. Yeah, we are. Yeah. Okay. Just want to make sure I can hear myself. What are we talking about? I remember though, and it was E-I-E-I-O. Okay. Kawaii Life Antonio says thoughts on SpongeBob finally finishing season 13 after a long while. Yeah, I don't really get why it takes SpongeBob such a long time to finish their seasons. That doesn't really make that much sense to me. Maybe the show, I don't know, maybe the show just takes a long time to animate or something. I literally have no idea. But yeah, it's weird that SpongeBob takes such a long time to essentially like animate. I mean, not animate. I mean, obviously animation takes a long time to do. But why it takes such a long time to air like all of their like season, all the episodes in a season? It's so odd. It's the weirdest thing to me. You know what I mean? Like, you'd think that they would try to have like a new season each year, but like I think season 13 took like what, 3 years? Or was it a couple of years to fully air or something? I don't know, but it's so weird. I don't understand it at all. But yeah, your mom says, I mean, season 9 lasted for 6 years. Yeah, like I don't understand that at all. Like it is so freaking weird. All other shows, right? When they have their seasons, they'll air it like at least maybe for a whole year or throughout most of 1 year. But like for SpongeBob, for whatever reason, it takes them a long ass time just to get through one season of their show. Again, I don't know if it has to do with the fact that maybe it takes them a very long time to animate these shows. I mean, these particular, seasons or whatever, or episodes, but like, it's odd. It's odd. But then also at the same time, like, I probably can slightly understand it a little bit now, because I think for the most part, the same people that work on SpongeBob currently in the animation side of things, I think they're also the same people that also work on the Patrick Star Show, because the Patrick Star Show and SpongeBob practically are the same animation. I don't think there's much of a difference. So I think maybe that's also why there's such a delay. But even then, that's just now. Before, I don't think there's that much of I don't think there's really that much of a reason as to why it takes SpongeBob such a long time to air all of their episodes for one particular season. It's bizarre to me. It's like, it's incredibly bizarre. Acceptor Wolf says originally the first SpongeBob movie was supposed to be the finale of the series, but Nickelodeon decided to make more episodes. Yeah, I mean, I guess it technically should have been expected because, I don't know. I guess it should have been expected somewhat because of the fact that, like, obviously the show was doing so well for them at the time, but I kind of do wish it ended. I do wish it did end after the first movie, but it's still here, which is fine. We just had like a very rough few years with SpongeBob, and it's gotten better. It's weirder now, 100%, but I do think it has gotten better in my personal opinion. So it's so that's the whole thing there. Northwestern Railway 66 says, explains the fluid, wacky animation these days if you think about it. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that, because what the hell is going on out there? Oh, they're just... Okay, that was weird. But yeah, like, I do agree. Like, I'm sure it probably, especially with the crazy, wacky animation that they do now, the crazy facial expressions they do with some of these characters now, which is nuts, it probably does take them a longer time to animate that. I don't know. I have absolutely no idea, but yeah, because when you kind of think about it, I don't think you see like a lot of other shows that kind of do the same thing. I mean, one example, I guess, of a show that kind of does crazy things with like not exactly wacky animation, but say like some of the wackier like, say, facial expressions, or like the vivid facial expressions, is Craig of the Creek. It kind of seems very out of nowhere when Craig of the Creek does some crazy facial expressions in that show. Excuse me, but yeah, but like, I do think not a lot of shows really do it nowadays, I don't think, which is not a bad thing. It's just, they don't do as crazy as SpongeBob does. So like that's just I think that's kind of just how it is in my personal opinion. Like that's what it seems like. Maybe. I don't know. But yeah. So maybe that's why it takes a much longer time to animate said show. That is definitely a possibility. Your mom says they tried to do the same with Fairly Odd Parents, but that obviously failed miserably. Yeah, because the show just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, man. And the fact that I think it's been confirmed that we're getting another Fairly Odd Parents show, it's like, can we please let this franchise die? Or at the very least, revitalize the franchise in another 10 years. Like, it needs to come back in 10 years maybe, or maybe it doesn't. In fact, I think a show that deserves more of a revival than Fairly Odd Parents is Jimmy Neutron. Like, I have no idea why they haven't done excuse me. I have no idea why they haven't necessarily done a revival of Jimmy Neutron. Like, that was a great show. Even when I still kind of go back to watch some of the older episodes, or just some of the episodes in general, it's like, man, I wish the show could come back. Same with My Life as a Teenage Robot. That's also a very enjoyable show that I wish Nickelodeon kind of, didn't really treat so badly. Like, it took them a very long time just to air all of the final episodes. I don't know why they do that. It's so weird. And, of course, they did all of those final episodes on freaking Nicktoons. So, it's, yeah. But I do wish that they could, we could have, like, maybe a return of those two shows or whatever. Maybe one of them, I mean, Nickelodeon is still kind of on, like, the nostalgia train, or at least I think that might have kind of slowed down a little bit, but it wouldn't surprise me if they were to still decide to do some sort of nostalgic type of movie or a show where it's like, yeah, we're going to bring that back and yada, yada, yada. I don't know. But yeah. Kawaii Life Antonio says the reason why Jimmy Neutron got canned was because of DNA production shutting down because of how the Ant Bully flopped. Yikes. I didn't even know that. I'm not even sure if I even knew that DNA Productions did the Ant Bully. Yeah, so that definitely sucks, Yeah, but I think that show does need to come back. Or you know what? Maybe not necessarily say that it needs to come back. I would just like for it to return. You know what I mean? I like to see what they would do with it now. It would be very interesting, I think. Would you still have like I wonder what if they were to do like Carl and Sheen? I wonder how that would be. That would be very interesting, you know? It would also kind of be interesting to see like what kind of dynamic you would see with like with Jimmy and Cindy. That would also be very interesting to see in a new series too. Trey Barton, welcome to the stream. Northwestern Railway says 3D animation has come a long way since Jimmy Neutron got canceled, which is why I'm curious to see how a revival would play out. Absolutely. That is very true. That's very true, especially for like TV 3D animation, which granted there is not a ton of 3D animation for television shows out there besides preschool shows. It's crazy now that I think about it. It's interesting how like when it comes to 3D animated shows, a lot of them are preschool shows. It's very interesting how like I think we had like a little bit more 3D animated shows back in the day for like say like regular like family programming, like say for Cartoon Network and Disney. Did Disney Channel have? Shoot, I'm not really even sure, but definitely for Nickelodeon, I think. I don't fully remember. Yeah. Cartoon Network also had a couple. They had a couple back in the day too. Yeah, but I find it interesting though that like a lot of 3D shows as of right now is mainly kind of reserved for preschool shows. Like the amount of 3D shows that you see on, well, I would say the amount of 3D shows that you see on Nick Jr., but you can't really see a lot of them on Nick Jr. because Nickelodeon, when it comes to their preschool block, almost only airs Paw Patrol. That's it. Paw Patrol and Rubble and Crew, which, again, if you guys have heard any of my other streams, and if I've ever talked about Rubble and Crew, I do not like that show. It is so stupid. Those characters are so dumb. It's wow. I could talk about how dumb Paw Patrol characters are as well, like, and definitely in the later seasons, but good lord. Rubble and Crew characters are so dumb. But yeah, like, at least on like Disney Junior, the only 2D show that they have is Bluey, right? Because Super Kitties is 3D. What was the Pubstruction is 3D. Star Wars Young Adventures is 3D. Spider-Man and it's I guess Spidey and his friendly whatever the heck that show's called, also 3D. Alice in Wonderland or Alice's Bakery or whatever the heck that show's called, also 3D. Mickey Mouse Funhouse, which is about to be Mickey Mouse Clubhouse in 2 years from now, also 3D. It's very interesting how there's a lot of shows that are strictly like 3D, but for preschool shows instead of, you know, for like regular programming on these channels. You know what I mean? Like, I would say it's actually less for Cartoonito, because Cartoonito now, they only have like, what, 4 shows? I'm not even going to count Cocomelon. They have Thomas and Friends, they have Bat Wheels, Mecha Builders, and Bugs Bunny Builders. And 2 of those shows, right? Hold on a second. No, only one, right? No, I'm right. 2 of those shows are 3D, right? You got Bat Wheels and Mecha Builders. Those are 3D animated shows. And Thomas and Friends and Bugs Bunny Builders are both 2D, right? So it's very interesting, just like how there's just way more 3D shows out there. Like, even on Netflix, like, I think Netflix probably has like more 2D animated shows for preschoolers, but at the same time, there is a lot of 3D animated shows for preschoolers back over there. It's weird. Like, I'm wondering why that is. You know, like it's I find that to be kind of strange. And there was somebody that mentioned somebody, yeah, Dorothy says, I think it's probably because of Paw Patrol's success. It's possible, maybe, you know, especially considering some of these shows kind of do look similar, at least with, like, you know, some of, like, the buildings or the backgrounds looks kind of similar to Paw Patrol in terms of, like, the tone of, or, like, the setting of the show and whatnot. But, you know, it's definitely possible. I think also with a lot of these shows where you have, like, ordinary kids or ordinary characters, yeah, usually kids regardless, but ordinary characters, whether they be humans or animal characters, right? They happen to turn into superheroes or whatever. Like they do this, like they go into like their lair or their lab or their whatever, right? And they kind of suit up and now they go out and they're saving the world or saving their town from something, you know? I think that was definitely heavily influenced by Paw Patrol, I think. It is very possible because I've seen a lot of it and it's like, yeah, I see a trend. You know what I mean? Kawaii Life says Pupstruction was debuted as Nickelodeon had no choice but to go in that bandwagon to make Rubble and Crew. Yeah, you know, that's the thing. And I think unfortunately, a lot of people don't know this, but Pupstruction was announced way before Rubble and Crew was a thing, right? Like, I think it was announced, like, I'd say either a year before or maybe a couple of years before Rubble and Crew was a thing. I think, like, when they announced that, like, oh, we're gonna have a spin-off Paw Patrol series, and then eventually when they said, oh, it's going to be based off of Rubble, it seemed like very soon afterwards we knew, oh, it's Rubble and Crew, oh, and it's going to air earlier in the year, right? Whereas again, with Pupstruction, it was announced way earlier than Rubble and Crew was. And so, unfortunately, people think that Pupstruction is a ripoff of Rubble and Crew, but it's actually, technically, it's the other way around. It's the other way around. But yeah, Pupstruction would have been first if they got the show first aired instead of Rubble and Crew. So, yeah. Gary, that's why your mom said that. I'll read those in order. Gary, the editor, says, hey, Josh, are you going to watch the Paw Patrol Mighty movie? Huh? Yes, I know, you've been telling me a lot. The thing is, I was gonna watch it before the stream, but it completely slipped my mind, and I was watching other live streams on YouTube and on Twitch at the same time. Crazy, right? But yeah, and then when I said, like, oh, I'm gonna do a stream, you kind of were like, hey, I thought you were gonna watch the movie and talk about it on the stream, and I'm like, damn it, I completely forgot. But it is what it is. Like, I may watch the film soon, maybe this week. That really depends. I did a review of the first movie. I think it would make sense to do a review of the second movie. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But then your mom says, I think a better movie for him to watch is Turning Red. Okay. Your mom? Turning Red is a no for me, okay? We talked about this on the last stream, because Gary, the editor, tried teasing me and said, oh, he should watch Turning Red. No. I'm not watching that movie. That movie seems incredibly cringeworthy to me. And who knows? Maybe it's a good film. Maybe if I were to watch it, I probably would enjoy it. I don't know. But again, I am not that much of a movie person. And strictly, as of right now, Turning Red is not a movie that I have any priority of watching. And I know how much that gets Gary, the editor, very upset when I say anything bad about Turning Red. So, I'm not watching the damn movie, okay? So no, it's not happening, your mom. It is not happening. Oh, man. This is going to be a freaking running... it's going to be a running gag on the stream, isn't it? Be like, oh, we're going to be talking about movies. Josh, you have to watch Turning Red. And I'm just going to be like, no, I am not. Shut up. Oh, Oh man. Let's see. There was somebody. Yeah, Kawaii says Bluey isn't an original. Even it's just an acquisition. Yes, it is. It's definitely an acquisition for Disney. But because Disney airs it, you know what I mean? It does technically still count, right? But that is the only 2D show that Disney Junior, excuse me, has at the moment. So, yeah, so that it's a whole thing. And also, you say Cartoonito so far is just spin-offs and reboots of their originals and acquisitions. Well, the thing is that they are supposed to be getting, let's see. Because this is, supposedly we're still supposed to be getting Leah's Block, I think. And I'm not sure if that's technically an acquisition. Yeah, I think it might be. Be something. I can't think of all of the shows that are supposed to be coming, but I think there's a couple that are technically supposed to be originals, but not necessarily originals in from Cartoon Network or from Warner Brothers, right? And that's also the other thing. Like, you also have, I've kind of forgot about this because they don't really air the show anymore. For some weird reason. But Jessica's Big Little World, right? That's an original from Cartoon Network, and that's also 2D, but they don't really air the show all that much. They could not have aired all of the episodes, and if they did, then damn, Warner Brothers Discovery really cut down Jessica's Big Little World to only have what was it, 6 episodes or something? I don't know. I haven't really watched it at all, so yeah, but it's odd. It is definitely strange, but yeah. Oh Jesus, no. No. Okay. Dorothy, the UI fanatic, Chip Chilla. You know, I was planning on doing a video or a short about Chip Chilla. I don't know. I don't know if I'm ever going to talk about it or if I'm going to, I don't know. It might be a short, honestly, but yeah, bro, it's nah, it is a complete ripoff of Bluey, a worse ripoff of Bluey. In fact, you got some people that are trying to defend the show, by saying, oh my God, look at how non-woke this show is. And it's like, guys, Bluey is not a woke show. Bluey was never a woke show. So why are you praising it as if oh, this is the woke alternative. This is the non-woke alternative to Bluey. Bluey's not woke. And shut up. Stop saying the word woke. It is annoying. God. but also, another thing when it comes to that show, some people are like, Chip Chilla is a totally different show. Okay, first of all, they're not dogs, they're Chip Chillas, so it's clearly not a ripoff. So because they're Chip Chillas instead of dogs, it is not a ripoff. I have no words. I have absolutely no words. Blue, the saber-toothed rat, says it is that word is annoying. If you're talking about the word woke, yes, it is. It is incredibly annoying because they use it all the time, and I constantly want to shoot myself in the head when I see people saying that. It's like, shut up! No, I don't, but you get what I'm saying. I get irritated when people use that all the damn time. But yeah, so, but Lordy, I'm not hearing anybody, speaking of Chip Chilla, I'm not even hearing anybody talking about it anymore. I think once it premiered, people were talking about it, going crazy about it, oh my God, it's such a ripoff, and yada, yada, yada. I mean, looking at the background of that show, it is clear that it is a ripoff of Bluey. It looks exactly like Bluey's world. It's nuts. But a couple of weeks later, nobody's talking about it. It just withered away. It's gone. It doesn't even exist. Chip Chilla who? What? Huh? Where? What? Why? How? It don't exist anymore. So, yeah. So, it's gone. It is absolutely gone. So, yeah, it's, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's, I don't know. Of course, a couple of people are talking about Turning Red. Scepter says, I don't care. I still love Turning Red. Good. You don't have to like what I like. You don't have to, we all have different opinions on movies and That's what I'm saying, you know? You know what I mean? I may not like Turning Red, but if you love Turning Red, then that's awesome, of course. Your mom said, did Josh just give me a death threat? Nope. I never give out death threats to anybody, especially not over a movie. Northwestern Railway says, Turning Red ain't a bad movie. It just doesn't feel like Pixar made it. I'm sure it's not a bad movie. It's just, I find it to be incredibly cringeworthy. Again, just looking at the trailers, and I've seen a couple of clips, cringe. Just incredibly cringeworthy to me. It's just, look, I said what I said. If you hate what I'm saying, I don't care. Okay? I just can't. I can't get past the trailer, man. No. Let's see. Zach's history note says, have you watched Haley's on It yet? Yes, I have checked out Haley's on It. I think it's a pretty good show. I'm not gonna say like it's one of my more favorite shows on Disney Channel right now, but I do definitely enjoy it. Yeah, so I do definitely enjoy that show. It's pretty fun. It's gonna be interesting to see like where the show goes. I do hope it gets a second season. But yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see essentially like what that show, where the show is gonna go, especially considering that the whole thing is, oh, Haley's on it. Haley has to kiss Scott in order to save the world and something, and so I do kind of have to wonder how they're gonna go about that. You know what I mean? And also, should they maybe slow that down? There's sometimes where it feels like in this episode, oh, they're about to kiss. Oh, they're talking about it a lot. Oh, Haley's about to confess to Scott that she likes him. And then obviously something happens where she doesn't need to do that, and blah, 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 blah. It's kind of like, maybe they should kind of pull back a little bit. But other than that, like, I think, it's, excuse me. Other than that, I do think, that it's, what am I trying to say? Other than that, I think, like, the show's fairly good. You know what I mean? I do like most of the characters. Animation's alright. Could be a little better in certain ways. It's a little bit too stiff sometimes. But, yeah, I like it. I've been watching every single episode. Yeah. I do enjoy Haley's on It. Scepter Wolf says, you want to hear another unpopular opinion? I think Space Jam and The New Legacy is better than Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. Go ahead and judge me. Oh yeah, I'm gonna judge the hell out of you. Get out of my channel. Just kidding. Just kidding. Oh, it's like, get out of here. You like that movie more than Chip and Dale? Get out. Nah, I'm not that kind of person. I don't think anybody is, but oh, that's crazy. What was Kawaii Life Antonio says, Haley brings Phineas and Ferb vibes. I don't necessarily see that, to be honest. Like, Phineas and Ferb vibes. Yeah, I don't really see that with Haley's on It. Huh. Yeah, see, I think I'm alone on this with my, I don't want to call it my hatred for I don't really want to call it my hatred for I don't want to call it my hatred for Turning Red. I don't even know if I can necessarily say that it's, my hatred for it, but yeah, like, it's no, like, it's nah, like, it's I think I'm the only person here that just does not vibe with that movie at all. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't even know. Let's see here. Yeah, let's just go all the way back. Northwestern Railway says, finally you share my frustration with that term woke lately. It sounds ignorant and uneducated as F. Absolutely. Fully agreed. Like, they use it for everything. Like, everything's woke. Oh, this is woke. That is woke. And it's like, shut up. Like, please, for the love of God, shut up. Okay? I don't take you seriously if certain things, you know, like, it's so annoying. It's like when like Super Mario, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, right? Like, when they kind of came out with it and the movie was doing so well, you had some YouTubers who were like, oh, look at this movie beating out woke Disney. And it's like, guys, we can't talk about an animated movie doing well without having to bring up the fact that, oh, this is woke. Look at how woke go broke. It's like, shut up. Like, you guys are hellishly annoying. I'm trying not to cuss. I'm trying not to say the F word. I already did it once. Try not to let that slip. But please, shut up about that crap. Like, my God. Whew. It is so freaking annoying. Mr. Really says, Dan Povenmire is an awesome creator and a great voice for Doofenshmirtz. Absolutely. Freaking love the guy. Again, I actually got to meet him when earlier this year when I went to a showing of Beetlejuice the Musical. Yes, Beetlejuice has a musical. It sounds incredibly insane, but the show is funny as hell. It's a lot of fun. If any of you guys get the chance to see the show, highly recommend it. It is hilarious. But yeah, he was there. He was there, and I got to meet him, and I was like, what is life? It was freaking insane. I didn't get the best picture, of course, because my phone camera doesn't always get the best picture sometimes in, like, certain lighting situations, but I still met him. That's all I care about. That is all I care about. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Your mom says, Josh, you're hella funny. This is why. I love going on your streams. I appreciate that. I'm glad you find me funny. I find myself, I'm more silly than I am funny. You know what I mean? But if my silliness, you know, kind of comes out as being funny to everybody else, then you know what? I'll take it. I'll take it. Mason really says, hey, Josh, I bet you had an awesome time meeting Dan Povenmire. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Again, like, it was not even remotely expected, but I've recently realized that he is also, like, a pretty big fan of musical theater, I think. Like, he's had, like, quite a bit of stories on his Instagram or TikTok. I don't watch TikTok, but he's had, like, quite a bit of, like, stories where he's gone to, like, certain musicals or goes to Broadway and sees a musical show and whatnot. And so it's kind of cool to see that, you know, he's also into musical theater as well, like I am. So that is awesome. You probably would either know by the shirt that I'm wearing. You probably can barely see it, but it has Billy Elliot on it. Have I seen the show? No, it was a shirt that my mom got me, and I think she saw the show, I think. Don't fully remember. But yeah, I'm a musical theater guy. Let's see. Kawaii Life Antonio says those YouTube woke channels are very annoying. Tell me about it. Whew. And they're usually so wrong with, like, almost everything, you know? And it's hilarious when it comes to that. Kawaii Life Antonio says Star versus the Forces of Evil. 4th season was bad, but I have seen worse. Yeah, you know, damn. Star versus was so... Just the way that show ended, man. Like, it is such a shame. Like, it started off incredibly strong. You know what I mean? It started off so strong, but, like, the last 2 seasons, I think, or specifically the last season, just completely tanked the show. To the point where when anyone talks about Star versus the forces of evil, it is not in a positive way. It isn't. Like, just, the way the show ended was just so freaking bad. I was baffled, you know? It's like, they just made so many bad decisions. It's crazy to me. Like, completely freaking crazy to me. But, you know, it is what it is. I don't know what else I need to say, but it is what it is. Ozzy All says, find it strange that Disney Channel has a lot more animated content than Nickelodeon or even Cartoon Network. Yeah, I was mentioning, like, I was thinking about that earlier today, and it's like, yeah, like, Disney Channel is really, really bringing it with their animated shows, right? Like, they've been doing a lot of shows. There's still more shows coming soon, too, you know? But when it comes to, like, Nickelodeon, there's not a lot coming. Of course, they only really air SpongeBob, Patrick, and Loud House. And then Cartoon Network, it's just Teen Titans Go, Amazing with a Gumball, and Craig of the Creek. That's literally it, you know? They don't even really air Wee Baby Bears anymore, which is so strange. The show's still current, but where is it on the schedule? Like, what the hell? It's so weird. But yeah, like, I think it's interesting how Disney Channel has been doing way more when it comes to cartoons, you know, especially considering that for a while they were heavily just doing live action shows. They were doing like a lot of live action sitcom style shows, and while they do still have those particular shows, like, they really only air those like maybe once a day for about an hour, right? Like, they have like an hour dedicated to a live action sitcom show, and then just back to some animated shows. It's very interesting, you know? Kawaii Life and Antonio says Cartoon Network does have Luniversity though. Yeah, that's right. I forgot Luniversity. Yeah, and honestly, it's been doing, just kind of based on like the ratings I've seen, it's been doing pretty well for Cartoon Network. In fact, when Tiny Toons Luniversity and Cartoon Network, when Tiny Toons Luniversity and Teen Titans Go were both having like new episodes that they were airing, they were above Teen Titans Go in ratings. Teen Titans Go technically ain't the top dog anymore when it comes to Cartoon Network. So it's been interesting. They've been like slowly going down in terms of ratings recently, I think. So yeah, but like Tiny Toons University, as much as I'm not exactly really a fan of that show, it's just not my thing. It has been doing well for Cartoon Network. So with that in mind, they definitely are going to be, in fact, even then, like, sometimes Tiny Toons University has managed to get Cartoon Network to like rating levels of where Nickelodeon and Disney Channel have been recently, which is incredibly rare for Cartoon Network. And so to be able to have a show that's gotten them up to where Nickelodeon and Disney Channel has been able to be, like, say, at the top of their ratings and whatnot, like, that's kind of big for Cartoon Network. So I think you're definitely going to see more Tiny Toons Luniversity in the future. That is 100% going to happen. You also are going to, you might particularly even see like a longer season for Tiny Toons Luniversity, because this current season was only like, I think 13 episodes, but they currently are only airing like 10 episodes right now on the channel. And it wouldn't surprise me if they end up like ordering even more episodes for the next season. It will not shock me in the slightest if they end up doing that. But yeah, Tiny Toons University has been doing well for Cartoon Network, so I am happy about that. I will say that. But it's that's kind of the I guess you can say the situation there. Kawaii Life Antonio says Teen Titans Go isn't an original either. It's just a recommission with Warner Brothers Animation. Yeah, pretty much. Gillian Felix said Primos is like a ripoff of the Loud House, which stirred up controversy. Well, actually, it's a ripoff of the Casa Grandes more so than the Loud House, which, obviously is the same concept as the Loud House. It's just the Casa Grandes is a Latino family. You know what I mean? So it's technically the same thing. So yeah, Primos is legitimately just a ripoff of the Casa Grandes. You know, so yeah. Will that be a show that I check out when it airs on Disney Channel? I don't know, possibly. But yeah, and I stayed away from that drama because I think it got a little bit too overboard in some ways. I mean, we're talking about Twitter, right? So like, Twitter is literally it's a hell site just for drama. I don't know what else I need to say, but yeah. Kawhi says, the Primos hate has been very tiring. Oh my goodness, and it's not even out yet. Yeah, like it's crazy. The hate for that show was literally insane, and it's like I definitely stayed out of it because I don't share the same sentiments that a lot of people did when it came to like how much they really despised that show. It was so overblown. Like it's just stupid. It's like, it's a cartoon. You guys should not get so pissy over a damn cartoon. Like, I mean, God, it's even if it is a ripoff, technically, of the Casa Grandes, like, still, like, come on, sheesh, it's nuts. Shane says, Teen Titans Go was the one show I liked as a kid, but as I got older, understood why everyone hated it and thought it was cringy. You know, that's kind of a good point to bring up, because I'm kind of in the same boat, right? Like, when Teen Titans Go first aired, like, definitely in season 1, I watched it and I actually did enjoy it, right? In fact, I probably could even wager and say that, the first season is probably like the better out of all the rest of the seasons of Teen Titans Go. I'll just go out and say that, to be honest. That's actually a more watchable season than any of the other seasons. But yeah, when I got older and started like watching a couple of episodes later on in my life, it's like, yeah, this show sucks. It's awful. It's terrible. The characters are worse and just completely awful, not funny and everything. And it's like, yeah, I stay away, completely stay away from Teen Titans Go. It's like, yikes. Excuse me. So yeah, it's you know, it's nuts in my personal opinion. Kawaii says, in the words of Patrick, take it easy, it's just a drawing. Thank you. Kawaii Life says the Miller era really damaged Teen Titans Go, as the recent seasons are surprisingly fun. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I could maybe somewhat believe that. I don't know. Again, I haven't watched any of the recent episodes because I'm not going to rot my brain doing that. But yeah, it was definitely rough 100% when it came to yeah, it was definitely rough when it came to like the Miller era, where it was literally just nothing but Teen Titans Go on the schedule. I'm glad that it's not just that anymore. Like, Teen Titans Go doesn't air as much as it used to anymore, which is great. But the schedule on Cartoon Network still sucks. But yeah, the Miller episode, but you know what? Also, I'll even say this, okay? Like, I would still prefer the Miller era of Cartoon Network than this current era of Cartoon Network. Because this current era of Cartoon Network, as it stands right now, seriously sucks. It's awful. I hate it. Thanks to Warner Brothers Discovery. But I'm going to leave it at that. I don't even want to say anything else about it anymore. Northwestern Railway says, considering Louder and Prouder and Primo's, Twitter has it all out for Disney shows. What have people been saying about like Proud Family, Louder and Prouder? I haven't seen many people talking about it on Twitter, but let me know. But also, I was never really a fan of Proud Family, so it's not a show that I watch like at all. I just never cared for that show. So yeah, but I'm not sure what people would potentially be saying about that show, where it's like, I guess, controversial or something. But yeah, definitely like let me know Like, let me know what Twitter has been saying about Louder and Prouder. Yeah. And for the record, I'm never gonna call Twitter X by its new name X. It is such a dumb name for a social media site. It sounds like a you know what? I don't even know if I'm going to say it. I'm not going to say it, but x.com. Fill in the blanks, okay? Skeptor says, I don't know if DreamWorks is dominating Disney since Ruby Gillman failed at the box office. Well, the reason why Ruby Gillman failed at the box office was because DreamWorks did little to nothing to advertise that movie. The movie was barely advertised at all, and so that's why it failed. Like, it's honestly funny to me to see them kind of like make articles about, oh, Ruby Gillman is one of DreamWorks, if not DreamWorks' worst box office opening in a long time. And it's like, well, of course it is, because you idiots did not advertise the damn movie. You did a little bit, but you did the bare minimum. And so, of course, the movie wasn't going to do so well because barely anybody knew the movie existed. So why are you guys even, like, it is so surprising to me how studios like this will decide which movies get any sort of marketing budget or get little to no marketing budget. Same with television shows. And then they act all shocked that it didn't do so well on Netflix, or it didn't do so well at the box office, or it didn't do so well on TV. It's like, you have to advertise your stuff if you want people to be in the know of any of these shows, and if you want people to see these shows and movies. Like, pay me millions of dollars, okay? Shoot, like, if I know this stuff, you guys might as well be paying me $1 million to run your damn companies. Like, God. It is so amazing how stupid Hollywood can be sometimes. Lord. As you can see, I get frustrated with stuff like this, but yeah, it's freaking crazy to me, man. It's nuts. Let's see. Your mom says, it's like HBO Max with Max. No one wants to call it that. Yeah, Max is also a stupid name for, like, I don't know how they remotely thought, hey, let's just change HBO Max to Max. That is a great name for a freaking streaming service. Like, and people wonder why Hollywood is dead nowadays, because they make decisions like this. Like, absolutely freaking insane to me. HBO Max and Max. And you know what? Let's talk about that for a second. It's funny. The whole reason as to why they said, hey, or maybe one of the reasons why they said, hey, we're going to remove HBO Max and just change the name to Max. We're going to remove HBO from the title and just call it Max. And one of the reasons why they said that they're going to do that was because they wanted to make it more, I guess, attractive to families to see HBO, to go on a streaming service, right? Because they had a worry that because it was called HBO Max, that parents were going to be a little turned off and said, yeah, I don't think HBO Max is going to have anything for my child to see, so I'm not going to buy the streaming service, or I'm not going to allow them to watch the streaming service, yada, 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 right? That was one of the reasons as to why they basically said, yeah, we're going to change the name because we want to also attract more families to the streaming service. The reason why I say it's funny that they say this is because there's barely anything new that's come to the streaming service. And yeah, maybe that has to do with the strikes, but there's not really a lot of new shows that's for like families, kids, preschoolers, or whatever, that's really made its way to Max. You know what I mean? And so it's kind of like you change the name so you can try to make it more appealing to families or parents to subscribe for their kids to HBO Max or Max, but there's not a lot of new content Like, you're taking away more content. In fact, that's what you idiots did last year when it came to a lot of shows for Cartoon Network. You took away a lot of channels. I mean, a lot of channels, a lot of shows, a lot of their, cartoons. And you're still doing that for a couple of shows now, where it's still being written off, providing even less shows for people on Max to check out if you want to see some cartoons or shows for kids or whatever. But that's the reason, or one of the reasons, I should say, that you guys changed your title from HBO Max to Max. So I just find that to be very interesting and incredibly ironic. But again, that's literally just the kind of it's the kind of decisions that studio executives or CEOs at the very top, that's the kind of decisions that they make. And somehow they get paid millions of dollars to make dumbass decisions like this. David Zasloff is definitely a very, very overpaid CEO. That's ridiculous. Again, pay me that much money, and I'm sure I probably would be able to run this or make better decisions than idiots in Hollywood can right now. In fact, I think a majority of people right now can make way better decisions than what people in Hollywood can do. I'm not talking about writers, not talking about actors, not talking about directors, not talking about producers. Okay? Because they're all at the mercy at the people at the very top of these conglomerates, right? The studio executives and the CEOs. You know what I mean? They're the puppet masters in all this. They're the ones that are making these dumb decisions, all right? And that's also why when it comes to certain movies and shows that have bad writing, it ain't because of the writers. It's because the studio executives say, nah, we want you to change this. Nah, we want you to do this. We want you to do this and blah, 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 blah. So, you get what I'm saying. These people are incredibly out of touch with the real world. And that's why they make such very, very dumb decisions. And why Hollywood is essentially dying. And why people are on strike because they don't want to pay their actors. Or they don't want to pay their writers. And yada, yada, yada. It's nuts. So, yeah, it's crazy. But, yeah. But Warner Brothers Discovery and Max. I don't know what else I need to say, but people are incredibly freaking stupid when it comes to these studios and their decisions. Literally anybody else that is not in that company can make better decisions than these people. But they get paid millions of dollars. Really think about that. You know what I mean? It's insane. David Zasloff clearly doesn't have any respect for animation whatsoever. No, he definitely does not. Because the dude, like, really think about it. Like, he was the CEO for Discovery, which didn't really do a mini cartoon. So he doesn't really care about, and again, I think I mentioned this in another stream, but merging Warner Brothers, which is a movie studio, their expertise is in storytelling, right? Merging that company with Discovery, which their expertise is reality shows and documentaries, was a very, very, very stupid idea. I mean, I don't think anybody really thought about this at the time, but merging Warner Brothers Discovery merging Warner Brothers Studios and Discovery was a incredibly stupid idea. If it was merged with another movie studio, that makes more sense. Disney buying out 20th Fox Century or Fox essentially I probably butchered that. But Disney buying Fox, that makes way more sense. Now, granted, Disney barely has really done anything with any sort of Fox property, but still, that makes more sense. Fox is another studio, another movie studio. Their expertise is, again, in storytelling. Disney's expertise, movie studio, also in storytelling. So two storytellers merging together or being bought makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. If it was Universal or NBC Universal, right, and they were to have bought Warner Brothers, that would have also made more sense. Again, they are a movie studio. And their expertise is telling stories, storytelling, right? So it would have made a lot more sense for another movie studio to buy Warner Brothers. But Discovery is not a movie studio. They don't do storytelling. So, again, it was incredibly a stupid decision. Again, most of us didn't necessarily think about it at the time, because also, let's think about it, right? We were, because somebody mentioned it here. Kawaii says, I blame the AT&T merger for Warner Brothers Discovery existing, as they did plan out on how it would work, as that ended up as a major garbage fire of a merger. Yeah, that is definitely AT&T's fault, you know, because they were the ones that owned. But even then, I still think that things were better with Warner Brothers then compared to how things are now with Warner Brothers. Because it's just not, no, it's just not, it's not a good situation. You know what I mean? And so, again, I truly wish, I truly wish that, like, this merger never happened, and another company would have bought out Warner Brothers instead of Discovery. And or just the fact that, like, with them merging, the fact that Discovery is the one that is kind of like the bigger majority stockholder, I guess, or stakeholder in this business, you know? Like, it's been mainly, like, lopsided in favor of Discovery more than Warner Brothers, which I think is insane. Right? You'd think Warner Brothers would be the bigger company than Discovery, but no. The person who took over this company was not the CEO of Warner Brothers at the time, but the CEO of Discovery. It's been all in Discovery's favor way more than it has been in Warner Brothers' favor. And they completely just destroyed the studio. It's awful. It's, yeah. So that's kind of my rant, I guess, in this situation. Again, and that's the other thing. Like, I think what I was gonna mention when it came to AT&T is that people knew how bad things were when it came to, like, AT&T owning Warner Brothers, which was called Warner Media at the time. And I think, like, when it came to the prospects of another company buying Warner Brothers, I think people were just, at the time, were like, oh yes, let's just have another company buy out Warner Brothers. It's gonna be better, probably. It may be a good deal and yada yada yada. Because it was just bad with AT&T supposedly, right? But again, like, we didn't necessarily think of the consequences of that. We didn't know what the consequences would have been, but we just didn't think about how having Warner Brothers Discovery, you know, being a thing. We just didn't think about how a movie studio and a documentary / reality TV studio, merging together would have been a terrible idea. We didn't think about it, and now we have that consequence. Not that we raising any, like, concern over it would have been, like, I don't think it would have been, like, it wouldn't have changed anything, you know, but yeah, it's yeah. So that is my TED Talk on why Warner Brothers and Discovery should have never merged. So, yeah. Mason Wrigley says there is also supposed to be an Ice Age 7 in development. I doubt that, but if that's true, I pray to God that that doesn't happen. We just need to let Ice Age die a slow and painful death. It has been, and get tangled. Yeah, it has been, but I don't think it needs to return. Because they tried to have an Ice Age comeback, you know, with the Adventures of Buck Wild. We all know exactly how that turned out, did we? With Buck Wild, we all know how that turned out. It did not turn out well. So obviously, if they were to do a 7th Ice Age movie, like if it was supposed to be like a legitimate Ice Age movie, which technically would be Ice Age 6, not 7, right? But because it was the first movie, second was The Meltdown, third was Dawn of the Dinosaurs, fourth was Continental Drift, and fifth was Ice Age Collision Course. I guess Buck Wild would technically be considered the 6th movie. But yeah, I think, yeah, but I don't know, like, if they were to do, I don't know, do they really, I don't know how they fully, like, do, I don't know how they fully do, like, titles necessarily. Hold on, Ice Age, Collision Course. Yeah, okay, so they just title it Ice Age Collision Course. They don't say Ice Age 4. Yeah, so it would technically be, I guess, the 7th movie, and it would be like Ice Age blank, whatever. You know what I mean? I would much rather they don't do that. They just need to shut it down. You know what I mean? Like, don't do it. But yeah, like, I don't know. Your mom says, and they also plan to revive yeah. I completely forgot that they are planning to revive Rio as well. You know what? Let me look that up. Is that supposed to, was there any other kind of like announcement in terms of like whether that was a thing that's going to be coming soon, or did we hear anything? Dun, 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 dun. Of course, you have those stupid, like, fake trailers where it's like, hey, guys, we got the official movie trailer for Rio 3, and it's using, like, it looks like AI art, and screw you for using AI art. But, yeah, the fact of the matter is that supposedly we're gonna get another Rio specific film, whether it be a third movie or I think it was supposed to be like a spin-off kind of movie or something. I don't know. But yeah, Buck Wild, that would definitely be, I wouldn't necessarily think that the movie is going to be good at all. If Buck Wild is anything to go by, I don't have much hope that Rio is going to be a much better film if they come out with a third movie or anything. I don't know. I mean, if it's going to be a big budget movie, you never know, but like, I don't know. I have like no clue. I have like, basically what I'm trying to say is I have like little to no hope that it's going to be like it's going to be a good movie, if that makes sense. Let's see. Blue, the Saber-Tooth Rat says, I heard season 3 is supposed to focus on Nico and Page something. I did hear that too. I don't know if he spelled that wrong or if I'm just stupid, but yeah, I think I do remember hearing that somewhere, that it was supposed to be, excuse me, I think I do remember that somewhere that it was going to be based off of those two characters, which, I mean, I guess it would be interesting, but again, if we're going to base that off of anything when it comes to Buck Wild, I wouldn't keep my hopes up. It's probably not going to be good. No, at the same time, I shouldn't necessarily go in with that because it is a completely different team. It's just like I would have to hope. Let me at least say that, okay? I'll change my tone a little bit. I would have to hope that if we are gonna get a third Rio movie, whether it be like an actual third movie or it would be a spin-off film, I would have to hope that it actually is good. You never know necessarily, but I'm not really 100% sure. You know what I mean? You just never know sometimes, but yeah. But you never know. You never know. It really depends. Abdullah says, and also the cable TV is not dying. I repeat, cable TV is not dying. Speaking of that, when it comes to cable TV, you never know. I don't think it's probably dying as fast as people are saying. I will say, however, Kawhi says AI art should never replace physical jobs at all. Agreed. But I have to say, when it comes to that, like, it maybe, you know what, I will have to say it does depend. You know what I mean? Like, there might be some things that cable TV needs to do to kind of change, I guess, like, how, it needs to change, like, audiences, like, behavior. Like, maybe they should try to start making more shows for television instead for streaming. But I do think the one thing I will say, because I've heard plenty of other people saying this when Blue says it's Pedro. Yeah, that's what I thought his name was Pedro. I was like, what's that name? Yeah, Nico and Pedro. Yeah, that's what I thought. Anyway, Kawhi says streaming sucks anyway. It has its flaws, and any show or movie can be removed at any time. Yes. But that's the thing. What I was saying was that, like, when I kind of talked, because while I was doing my show last week, of course, me and all the other actors, they're either union eligible. Some of them are probably part of the union, I think. And some union actors can do work on certain shows. Obviously, if it's a show that is part of AMPTP, if it's a struck show, they can't work on it. But if there's a independent film or independent show that has like an internment agreement with SAG-AFTRA, they can work on those, and they're not scabbing. So it's the whole thing. But excuse me. When it comes to when it comes to us, because obviously we were talking about like the strikes and whatnot. We all know that because of the strikes and the outcome of the strikes, right? Like, we don't know what the outcome is necessarily going to look like for the actor strike. Obviously, they're holding out strong to have, like, a very, very good deal. We just know that when it comes to the strikes, right, it's going to change a ton when it comes to this industry, right? The industry is not going to just go back to normal with the way that it has been for a while. Things are going to change. We're going to see a big change. I would even say a huge shockwave within the industry once it is finished. Once the actor strike is definitely finished. And so that kind of does bring up like the terms of like streaming and live TV, right? Cable TV, right? With how, like, say, with for one, with how streaming services have really been losing a ton of money instead of really making much of a profit. Netflix is kind of like, I think, the only streaming service as of now that's really making a profit, whereas all the other streaming services as of right now is not really making that much of a profit at all. And because of that, that's why a lot of these shows were not really paying their actors all that well. You had like less pay for doing these episodes, and residual checks were not really doing that well because you're not really generating any money from ad sales or anything when you have shows on streaming services. Yeah, that's a loud plane. I don't know if any of you guys can hear that, but it's pretty loud. I do live kind of like by an airport, but only for like mini jets. Not really like, I don't live like near a huge commercial airport, but but yeah, like I think because of like for one, I think because of the fact that a lot of things have kind of been like, I'd say, brought to life in a way in terms of how You know, hold on, just very, very quick. Hold on a sec. Yeah, I was just trying to bring in a little bit more light in the room. I don't know exactly how it looks right now, but hold on just for a quick second. About to get back into the conversation, but hold on. Yeah, that kind of works, I guess. I'll work with it. I don't necessarily like how that lamp is kind of like that bright, but it is what it is. I mean, it's not that bright in here, but like on camera, it just it's like really fleshed out. You know what I mean? It's weird. But anyway, going back to the conversation. When it comes to like, again, when it comes to streaming, it kind of opened the eyes to like a lot of people as to how streaming works, especially when it comes to like all of these shows being taken off of these streaming services, and sometimes taken off of like sites where you're able to purchase said show and you can no longer see them anymore. You know, at least when it comes to say like cable TV, you have the option. Not everybody does, because I don't think everybody has DVR, but I'd say most people have DVR. But at the very least, you have the option, right, to record said show or movie or event or whatever, and you can keep it for as long as you want, you know? Now, that still isn't necessarily permanent. You know, it's not as permanent as physical media, and I'm glad that physical media hasn't necessarily gone away. You're still able to buy certain shows on DVD or Blu-ray, and same with movies, right? I'm glad that that's still a thing. But again, I think with this like with everything that's been going on with streaming services, and again with a lot of stuff that many of us, including I, have been learning when it comes to when it comes to the idea of streaming, right? I think you might start seeing more shows, like you might start seeing more shows kind of having more of a focus on being back on cable TV instead of streaming. That's possible. I mean, I'm not 100% sure, really. I mean, because the fact of the matter is that television shows, regardless of views, right? Television shows make more money based on basically just on ad revenue on cable than they do on streaming, right? Yes, streaming, you have a bunch of people subscribing, right, to a streaming service per month, paying like $14, $15, $16 per month, right? But none of those dollars really go into the production. You know what I mean? You basically clicking on a movie or a television show and giving them a bunch of like streaming minutes, right? Like that doesn't necessarily generate any sort of revenue for that show. So you can have like, say, Little Mermaid. It generated like 16 million views or 16 million minutes or streamed or whatever, right? But how much does that mean in terms of how much money the Little Mermaid, like the newer Little Mermaid movie, made on the streaming service when it debuted on Disney Plus? We don't know, but I would have to imagine it doesn't mean a lot of money was generated for that particular film, right? When it came to airing on the on Disney Plus, right? And so that's the same with all of these movies, you know. All of these movies, yes, but it's the same for all of these TV shows. All of these TV shows also, or just shows in general that are made for streaming, they're not going to make as much as they do on television, because of course television has all of those ads, and ads generate revenue based on how many people are watching any sort of program at any given time. And so because of the fact that there's a lot of stuff that we learned in terms of like how a lot of these movies and shows are not making any sort of money when they premiere on streaming, there's even like a couple of instances where you do see some shows, right, that were exclusively on streaming that are now kind of making its way to television, right? There has been a couple of times when that has happened. And, you know, granted, as of right now, it's because of the strike, and there's not really much that they can air right now. They don't have, like, any new episodes of some of their favorite shows. New seasons can't air because they haven't been filmed and whatnot. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff that they can't do right now because of the strikes. But, excuse me, but, like, they put it on cable because of the fact that they don't have those kind of shows. But even then, I'm sure having those shows being on cable right now, you probably see even more, like, they have probably way more money generated just airing those episodes on television than on streaming. So I think because of that, right, you probably are going to see like a maybe somewhat of a shift, because the studios were trying to, which was kind of very stupid on their part. They wanted to spend like billions of dollars to have a bunch of content made strictly for streaming. And I don't know if they remotely even thought of the fact of, like, well, are those billions of dollars going to be made back when we put all of that stuff into Disney Plus or Paramount Plus or HBO Max or Netflix or whatever, right? I don't know. They just make a bunch of shows and hope that people subscribe to really kind of come back. But yeah, and people do subscribe, but it costs a lot of money to run these streaming services. And, you know, so, like, trust me, they're just not, like, you know, they're not really making a lot of money. And so, of course, all of these studios are really, 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 really regretting that. And they're also trying to push you to essentially pay less for their streaming service, but you get ads, right? They have like a lower tier system where you pay much less for these shows and movies, or for the, you know, access to the streaming service, but you get ads. Because now that they can give you ads when you're watching a movie or watching a show, that's a way for them to generate even more revenue for said show, which kind of defeats the purpose of getting a streaming service. Like, you want to have a streaming service to access these shows, but you generally do not want ads before those movies or before those shows, or to interrupt it. You know what I mean? So that kind of, in my personal opinion, that kind of just defeats the purpose. And you might as well just go and get cable, right? Like, cable already is going to have ads regardless. So it's kind of like, what's the point of having a streaming service if you're going to have ads anyway? Or, if anything, I think what would be smart, in my personal opinion, I think what would technically be smart for them to do is maybe, like, say, for Paramount Plus, for example, all of the channels that, if they really want to move people towards streaming, maybe what they should do is all of the channels that are owned by Paramount Plus that are currently airing on television, just also have those be broadcasted on the streaming services. I think that would technically make sense, because if a lot of people would be going to Paramount Plus to watch something, they could also be watching, you know, said channels possibly on the streaming service, which means that they could also air it on their computer, they could air it on their phone, they could watch all of that stuff, right? And maybe that could also be a way for them to generate more revenue and get way more people, like way more views of on their channels and whatnot. I think that would technically make some more sense, right? Like Disney Plus could have like ABC broadcasting live, or Disney Channel broadcasting live, or Max could have Cartoon Network broadcasting live, or all their T networks, TNT, TBS, and True TV could be broadcasting live on the streaming services. I just think at least, I don't know, let me know in the chat if that makes sense. Like, me personally, I think that would make a lot more sense. If you want people to really go towards streaming, right, but if you also want your streaming services to actually make a profit, then maybe have some of the TV, like, give people the option to also have streaming services, but also have a broadcast channel that they can also watch on said streaming service. You know, I don't know if it's just me, but I think that makes sense. Now, I don't know how expensive that would be for them to create something like that, but I think that would just make sense. They kind of do it for certain shows already, right? Or well, certain shows, but they do it for like certain channels. I think Paramount Plus has like a couple of things that they do broadcast live on their streaming service, but like, you know, I think that would just make a lot more sense, you know. So yeah, again, that's kind of like a long-winded answer when it comes to like, oh, is cable TV gonna die off and blah blah blah. I'm not even 100% sure necessarily. Like, it definitely does have its place. But I do think, oh wow, Hulu is the only streaming service, to broadcast cable channels, but for like $70. Is that $70 a month? Or, because if it is $70 a month, yeah, that's a lot. But at the same, you know, that's kind of akin to, I guess, how much regular cable costs people per month, or a little cheaper or something. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. I don't know. But, I mean, at the same time, though, like, I still think it would kind of be, like, a smart move for them to make, you know? So, that's just my personal opinion. Yeah. But also, me personally, I would just rather pay a certain amount of money for cable TV, mainly because you have access to a lot of stuff, you know? Like, you got access to Disney channels, you have access to Paramount channels, you have access to, you know, it's kind of better that way, in my personal opinion. But yeah. So yeah, the streaming era is definitely going to be changed a lot when it comes to the future. I don't know exactly how it will, but it's definitely it's possible. Who knows? You never know. Joshua W56 says, "Did you hear? Whoops. Did you hear what Paramount Plus did to their latest movie? Which one is their latest movie? I don't know what Paramount's latest movie is. You know what? I may have a slight idea of which movie you're talking about if it's an animated film, but I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure necessarily. Omnimon says, how does Ko-fi work? Oh, were you talking about like my Ko-fi page? Yeah, I barely even advertise that for some reason. But yeah, Ko-fi, I guess, is essentially kind of like a page where you can like support your creators, like your favorite creators. You know what I mean? Like, you could just go on the site and like essentially like support them, like say, oh hey, you know, support me with giving me a donation or something. I don't know if you'd call it a I guess you would call it a donation technically. I think, I don't know. I set it up like a while ago because like I was going to set up a membership on the channel, you know what I mean? Because I even did a poll about it, and like I kind of got like surprising results. So it was like, hey, if I start up a membership on this channel, would you guys be willing to support it, and yada yada yada? And a lot of people said, yeah, I would, you know. And I was like, wow, okay. So I was gonna set that up, but because of the fact that like the whole Google AdSense situation, you know, with my channel has been completely like ruined for whatever reason. I don't know why, and I don't think it's something I can get fixed. It's like, okay, I'll probably go ahead and also set up a Ko-fi account to, you know, potentially like you know, possibly get some more like support on the channel and yada yada yada. It's not something I've been pushing, mainly because like, I don't know, I've always tried to potentially like you know, like possibly have like, hey guys, if you want to support your creator, you know, go to my Patreon, do this and da 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 da. But like it's never been easy for me because I guess I just never like really asking for money, you know? Like, it kind of feels maybe a little tacky, and not even just tacky, but like I think like I'm a little bit too prideful to really ask anybody for monetary help. Maybe, you know, I had to earlier this year because of everything that was going on with the family member that died and yada yada yada, you know. But you know, so I had to, you know, enlist like some help from people, and now I'm you know, fully situated with like payments and everything like that. But you know, but like it's always kind of been a struggle for me because like I always feel bad being like, hey guys, you watch my videos, also give me some money. You know what I mean? Like I always feel bad. I felt bad about doing that. And even though I know that there's some people that would be fine with possibly supporting me that way, it's always kind of been like, I don't know. I just feel weird being like, hey guys, so you know, I know you guys watch my videos, but I don't know how I would go about it. You know what I mean? But also, I haven't really been posting a lot of videos, as you guys know. You know, I've been doing more live streams. I haven't been, like, posting a lot of videos or even shorts and whatnot. So, also because of that, well, the thing is with Ko-fi, it's like you either have the option of just doing, like, a one-time donation, whether it be, like, $6, $5, or whatever. Or you could do, like... Because, like, Ko-fi is kind of like, oh, you're buying somebody a cup of coffee. If you buy them 5 coffees, you're buying them, like, $20 worth or something. If it's, like, $5 or whatever. You know what I mean? It's something like that. It's kind of an interesting thing. It's just a way to support your creators, though. But, yeah. But, again, like, for me, it's not necessarily, like, something that I've kind of pushed onto this channel, you know? But it's, yeah. But also, again, like, I don't really... but there is an option there, which is kind of why, well, it's partially why I also didn't want to do a membership on this channel too, because since I'm not really posting all that much, I don't want people to pay for, like, you know, pay to support the channel, but I'm not posting as much anymore as I used to. You know what I mean? So I would just feel bad, you know, that you're posting monthly, but I'm barely posting anymore on this channel, you know? I still want to try to fix that. I still want to, like, continue posting more on the channel. It's just, it's kind of been somewhat of a struggle bus recently, but also I've been, you know, kind of busy recently as well. So it's been a whole thing, you know? So, yeah. Omnimon also says, honestly, if I could support you, I would. I appreciate that. That's nice to hear, of course. But other than that, I'd love to discuss more options and ideas because I like finding different perspectives. Well, yeah, I mean, like, you could, if there's anything you want to bring up to talk about, I mean, you definitely can, I guess. I might... we've almost been going up with, yeah, it's almost been 3 hours. That's longer than I ever expected to be streaming as of right now. But yeah, I might end the stream within the next 30 minutes. So it could be like either I am ending it in 30 minutes or maybe in 15 or in 20. I don't know. It really depends. Kind of depends on if we continue to, you know, get questions or whatever. I'm not 100% sure. Gary the editor says, gonna get going. Thank you for joining the stream. I will definitely see you after the stream, obviously. We'll continue to chat and whatnot. But yeah. but thanks for joining when you were able to. Don't Stop the Stream is a great stream. I'm surprised that, for one, I'm actually surprised that you guys have been, like, really watching the stream for this long. You know what I mean? Like, all I'm doing is talking about stuff. You know what I mean? I'm surprised I'm still chatting right now. So it's like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of interesting that people are still, like, watching as of right now. So I'm kind of surprised. And I do know it is kind of getting late for some of you guys. It's almost 9 o'clock in the East Coast. And so, which, I mean, it's not too late, but some people probably sleep at 9. I don't know. I don't know exactly how old everybody is that watches my channel. I do know a lot of people that are in the stream that tends to watch my channel usually tends to be, like, around my age or whatnot, but, but, you know, I know there's some people that are also still in high school. It is a Saturday, so it's a whole thing, you know what I mean? But, yeah, so it's the whole thing, you know what I mean? Let's see. Omnimon says, take care, Josh, and I hope we can discuss more ideas again soon. Yeah, take care, man. I'm glad that you are, glad that you were able to, join the stream for a bit. So that's dope. Doo says, "Are you sad Peter Rabbit got taken off from Paramount Plus a few?" Yeah, you know, I was trying to. It's crazy. Like, I was honestly trying to like check out. That shit. I look so weird. Like the sun is starting to set, but it is what it is. Yeah. Again, I might end the stream very soon. I'm not 100% sure, but it really depends. But yeah, but but it kind of sucks that show. Excuse me. It does kind of suck that the show is no longer was able to because like when I started like, you know, kind of getting back to watching the show. Hold on a second. Thank you for letting me know. Okay. Hold on just for a quick second here. What is that? Dun, 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 dun. Let's see. Yeah, I cannot find any sort of, yeah, okay, let's see. Oh, wow, yeah, you can go screw off right there. Yeah, so that happened. Okay. And let's see. Yeah, I have no idea what the hell is going on. That's crazy. Let's see. A Burger Planet, nothing to worry about. He is a loser. Yeah, geez, these types of people need to stop going too far. The internet can be tough to deal with sometimes. Yeah, you know, honestly, like, yeah, it's a whole thing. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure why there is not an option. Let's see, pump out chat. I don't know. Let's see. Bird Plant just caught you. I don't even know who the fuck that guy is. I don't even give a shit. That's crazy. But yeah, so I don't even remember what I was talking about necessarily, but yeah. Let me hold on a second, just quick. All right. Oh yeah, it was about like Peter Rabbit or something. Yeah, hold on a sec. Yeah, trying to see how do I do that. Did something happen? Oops. Okay, there we go. There we go. Alright, so. Alright, fucking finished that. Alright, and so. Because I did not know I was able to do that. So, okay. And get rid of some of these people. Bump it up. Okay, and I think I got that situated. Alex, why the hell did you have to leave, man? I put you as a moderator for a damn reason. Okay, so wait, who the what? Watch it. Oh, I thought it said unhidden. I was like, excuse me? No. Okay. Wow. You just sent like a crazy freaking yeah. Your mom says you turned on a mode that subscribers can only send messages. I think the stream is now okay. Yes, it is. Yeah. I'm basically going to say this, and I'm not going to hold back. All those motherfuckers can literally go fuck themselves, and yeah. You know, I don't, like, look, trolls, like, I know the trolls have a, you know, like they don't freaking bother me, especially when they are like, oh yeah, we're gonna find this black guy and we're gonna call him the N-word and kind of and whatnot. I literally do not fucking care. Okay, I literally do not give a shit. Okay, because the fact of the matter is, all right, and this is literally just the truth. I know that every single one of those people literally gonna amount to nothing. You know, whatever streamer was finding me and just being like, oh, we're going to spam you and blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, I know how much people are not, they're literally nothing, okay? They're dust, all right? So, like, I literally do not, and again, not holding back and whatnot, I literally do not give a fuck, all right? Like, let me just make that clear, okay? So, I definitely apologize for the fact that that happened in the stream. In fact, let me probably edit just a little bit more just in case. But yeah, but other than that, is that, yeah, let's screw it. Let's do that. Let's do it to 20 minutes. Yeah. But yeah, but either way, you know what I mean? Matt Mason says, I hate spammers, especially ones that say the N-word. Yeah, it's a bunch of, like, again, literally a bunch of edgy, like, lowlives. You know what I mean? Trust me, I've dealt with that before once. You know what I mean? And like, so it's nothing. You can't. The thing is, you can't let that kind of shit like essentially affect you. You know what I mean? So he can, whoever was doing the stream and stream sniping or whatever, they can put me, you know, on their goddamn like channel and call me a monkey, call me the N-word or whatever. I literally don't fucking care. I literally don't care because I already know that I amount way more than he does. He's trash, so I don't give a shit. So that's all I'm going to say in that regard. Anyway, so going back essentially to what I was saying before, it was about like what, Peter Rabbit or something, I think. Yeah, it sucks. Your mom says, wow, you know you messed you messed up when you made Josh curse in his PG rated stream. Yeah, you know, I mean, yeah, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Because again, I've dealt with this before when it came to like either some of my very early streams or when it came to, I remember there was one dude where like he would also kind of like just make videos. You know what I mean? Like, he would kind of, like, make some videos, you know, kind of, like, just trolling me. Also kind of had the N-word in his damn stream. Or also kind of called me the F-word, which is, like, yo, I'm not even that way. But, like, it's like, I don't even care. But it's crazy. But anyway, we're going to move on. Those people don't exist, okay? Those people don't exist. They're all a bunch of lowlives anyway, all right? So, that's the only thing I have to say. They literally amount to nothing. Absolutely nothing. They're a bunch of fucking idiots. So, anyway. But yeah, but kind of going back to what I was essentially saying when it came to the show being taken off of Paramount Plus. It does suck. I hate this goddamn lighting. You know what? I might try to see if I can fix that in there we go. Yeah, that's a little further. Yeah, that's better. That's better. Okay, cool. Wish I was able to do that earlier, but yeah. But anyway, like, Northwestern Rose says, what the hell, man, even just happened? I'm more confused than offended. Yeah, I'm not even offended. You know what I mean? Because, like, the fact of the matter is that them kind of, like, just saying racist shit, like, it literally is trying to get a reaction. Like, if they think that they're gonna make me kind of just, like, cry or be like, oh, man, well, you know what? I'm just gonna end the stream. Goodbye. I can't deal with this. Like, no. That, like, you guys failed. You fucking failed, okay? Shit, I literally don't care. You know, like, it's, yeah, so you get what I'm saying. But anyway, continuing on with what I'm saying. Continuing on. Yeah, it sucks that, like, when I tried to get back into that show on Paramount Plus, like, I think literally a couple of weeks later or a month later, literally, it's like, bloop, it's gone. You know what I mean? Like, that really freaking sucks, man. Like, I mean, it is what it is, but, like, yeah, it's, you know. And, I couldn't, like, I wanted to continue watching the show because I haven't seen it in such a long time, right? But, like, they said, nope, we're taking it off of streaming. That's why streaming sucks, okay? Like, that's why streaming services, like, they literally suck, okay? I wish that I was able to buy more physical DVDs of any of these. Well, I kind of have a couple of DVDs, but I haven't really gotten any all that recently. And also, I don't necessarily have a DVD player. Well, I think actually, I technically have a DVD player downstairs, but it's not really like, excuse me, it's not necessarily, what am I trying to say? It's not really hooked up to my television. It hasn't been hooked up in years, you know what I mean? So, I don't necessarily, like, I don't really, what am I trying to say? I don't particularly, you know, I don't really have, like, much of a reason to kind of buy a DVD, but even then, at the same time, I don't even have, like, a DVD slot to put in on this laptop. I probably would have to have a, I probably would have to have, like, a specific, what am I trying to say? I would need to have, like, probably, like, a plug-in to be able to have that, you know what I mean? But other than that, like, yeah, but other than that, like, I don't necessarily, I don't necessarily have, like, much of a reason to really have, you know, a channel. I mean, a channel. What am I saying? What the hell? Yeah, but I don't have necessarily a reason to particularly, you know, get a bunch of DVDs or anything. So that's kind of what I'm saying. But yeah. All right, let me see. Let's continue on. Quiet says, from what I heard, Paramount Plus removed many shows to make way for that whole Showtime merger thing. I think that's possibly it. I don't know. I can't really say for certain, but I have, like, absolutely no idea. But yeah, because did anything, like, really happen with that merger, with the Showtime merger and Paramount Plus? I don't know. I haven't necessarily really been keeping up with that. So I legitimately have no idea. Mysterious dude who the fuck? My bad. But it says, "Hey Josh, are you gonna watch Wish?" You know, I don't think so. Like, it just hasn't really, like, caught any of my attention, nor has it caught any, like, yeah, it hasn't caught my attention, nor has it really caught any of my, like, hasn't really grabbed my interest. You know what I mean? Like, it's not necessarily that it looks like a bad movie. It's just, I don't know. I mean, like, it just hasn't really been a movie where it's like, oh yes, I definitely want to check this out, you know? Like, it's kind of never been that, you know what I mean? So it's just not, I don't know. I mean, I might have to just leave it up to, I guess, what some people say, maybe. I really have, like, no idea. But I'll probably look out for, I mean, truth be told, honestly, I haven't really been all that into movies, but specifically, I haven't really been all that into Disney animated movies recently. I don't know why, but I just haven't really watched a lot of them, you know? Like, give me a Sonic film, you know, like Sonic 3, I'll definitely go and see that. The Super Mario movie, 100% want to see that. Was there another film? Well, there was TMNT, Mutant Mayhem, but Alex did recently see that movie. He wasn't exactly a big fan. I don't think he liked how the film was written. You know what I mean? And so, it wasn't necessarily like, it wasn't necessarily like, what the hell? Yeah, it wasn't necessarily like his cup of tea, and so I'm not 100% sure if that's a movie I'm gonna check out. I mean, it could be, but, like, I don't know. It really depends. But yeah, there isn't really, isn't there another movie that I want to check out, or that I'm interested in checking out? I'm not. Oh yeah. There's Illumination Migration, right? That movie looks very interesting to me. I'm very interested to see, like, what that film is gonna be like. You know what I mean? I'm someone who doesn't really like I know there's a lot of people that are not like that's not really like a fan of Illumination movies, but for the most part I'm okay with their films, you know? Like I'm not like a Illumination hater like a lot of I don't want to even say the term hater. I'm not really like a fan of that term, hater. Like, people still use it. I'm not really a fan of that. But still, like, I don't dislike Illumination as much as most other people tend to. You know what I mean? So, yeah, like, it's not necessarily, like, it's not a film. No, it's a film that I'm looking forward to. That's a particular film that I'm, like, really looking forward to. Kawhi says, Migration might do pretty well in the box office. I wouldn't say that it would get Mario movies numbers, though. I'm pretty sure it won't, but yeah, I think they're looking for that movie to do pretty well with them, especially because this is, it is, like, I think one of the few, like, original stories that they have created right now. And I think it seems like they're kind of passionate about this one, I think. So yeah, I'm very excited for that movie. That is definitely a movie that I'm really wanting to check out. You know what I mean? Kawhi Live Antonio, actually, first sector says, sorry, Josh, I have to eat right now. Bye and happy Saturday. Thanks for joining the stream, dude. I'm definitely glad that you were able to join and watch and listen to some of the things that I say. Hopefully, whatever you eat is good. I probably should go and eat something soon as well. I am getting a little hungry as well. Might make me some chicken. I don't know. But yeah, Kawhi says Illumination is overhated anyway. It has its positives. I agree. Like, yeah, it's not as stellar as DreamWorks or as Disney or whatever, but like it's not as bad as some people, you know, make it out to be, if that makes sense. Your mom says Illumination isn't the best studio, but most of their films are enjoyable for the most part. Agreed. Absolutely agreed with that. You know, they don't make terrible movies. You know, again, they're not all great, but you know, they're not. It's not a bad movie studio. Like, we should stop kind of pretending it is. And also, I do have to also mention, it is kind of interesting to me that like Illumination can spend so much less on their movies compared to how much Disney tends to spend on their animated movies, yet they're still able to make like a fairly good profit. In fact, the Paw Patrol movies, right? You would be surprised. In fact, let me double check that. I think like the second movie, let me see, Paw Patrol movie budget. This one shocked me because I had to look that up recently. Yeah, so the Paw Patrol Mighty movie cost them $30 million to make. $30 million to make. You think it would be more than that, but $30 million. And some of these movies that are created, like even the SpongeBob Sponge on the Run, I think that was around like, what was it, 65 million? Let me look that up. Sponge on the Run. Yeah, $60 million. $60 million for Sponge on the Run. And look, I do not like Sponge on the Run. Let me make that clear, okay? I do not like Sponge on the Run. However, I can't deny that the animation for that film is incredible. The animation on that movie is absolutely incredible. But it cost them $60 million to make that film. Compared to Wish, that I think, Wish movie Disney budget. That one cost Disney $200 million. And mind you, we're not even mentioning, like, how much it costs to market said movie either. We're not mentioning that. Just strictly on the budget of making the movie alone, Disney's Wish cost them $200 million, which is insane. And Into the Spider-Verse, how much did that cost? $90 million to create Into the Spider-Verse. And the animation, look, I haven't seen the movie, but from the scenes I have seen from Into the Spider-Verse, the animation in that is incredible. It's stellar. It's insane. Puss in Boots, Last Wish. Last Wish budget. Okay, now that one's more expensive. No, wait, that's the first movie though. The first movie is 130. So the second one, well, it says worldwide production budget of either 90 million or 110 million, which is still excuse me, which is still less than what Disney spends on their films, you know what I mean? And so I find it to be very interesting and kind of crazy, I guess, that kind of crazy just like how much they spend on these films, because it's like, yeah, it's crazy to me how much they spend on these movies, you know what I mean? But just like how most of these movies can still look incredible regardless of how much they spend, you know? Just because Disney's spending $200 million and only and like say Migration, I don't know how much. I'm gonna wager that Migration cost them like maybe 70 million, or let's say 80 million. That movie, at least to me, looks fantastic. All right, the backgrounds, the colors, the animation, you know, the designs on some of the characters. You know what I mean? Yeah, it may not necessarily be very complicated, and maybe that's why it's not as expensive or something. Who knows? But that movie still looks fantastic, right? And they didn't have to spend $200 million, so that's very interesting to me. You know what I mean? But, like, yeah, it's crazy how even though they can spend less money than what Disney spends on their movies, and that could also be due to casting. Who knows? I don't know. But, like, it's very interesting how it's incredible. Like, you know, how, like, depending on, like, or sometimes doesn't depend on how much they spend on a movie, the films can still look incredible. Now, as Kawhi mentioned, you know, says Sony unfortunately overworked their workers on Spider-Verse, but the film looks stellar as the animation deserved better to lead on beyond being delayed from the time crunch. Yeah, and that is the thing. Unfortunately, like, animators don't get paid enough, and they do tend to get overworked for these films, which really freaking sucks. You know, it's literally insane, but, you know, still, you know, what they're able to accomplish, even though I wish it would be on better terms, of course, what they're able to accomplish is still, like, definitely incredible. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's definitely, like, amazing what they're able to do. I do wish the animators are able to get paid more. Also, don't forget, animators are going to be potentially going on strike next year, so that's going to be very interesting. Your mom says Sponge on the Run was pretty disappointing and mid, but somehow the animation is somewhat better than the movie itself. The animation in the movie is great. It absolutely is. But the writing in that movie, no, it's awful. It's the movie. The movie is not. I mean, you know what? Let me not say it's awful. I say, like, again, the first act of the Sponge on the Run was fairly good. Just unfortunately, like, the rest of the movie, you know, isn't really that great. You know, that's the thing that kind of sucks about it. The rest of the movie is not all that good. So that's the whole situation there. Northwestern Railway says The Grinch was the only Illumination movie I hate. Really, everything else is meh. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would really say that I hate The Grinch. I haven't really seen the full movie. I think I've seen most of it, but it's not The Grinch, man. Like, I don't know what they did to The Grinch, but it's not The Grinch. Like, it is not The Grinch. Like, it's, oh man, it's, The Grinch needs to be, like, way more, I don't know, but it's certainly, like, the characterization of that Grinch is just not, no, it isn't. Mysterious Doodoo Face says, I thought the Animation Guild went on strike already. No, it hasn't. Their contract doesn't run out until next year. And so next year is going to be the year that they will potentially strike. So the Animation Guild is, I think some of them are probably on the picket lines with the actors and the writers at the time to show solidarity. But they're not currently on strike. The guild itself is not on strike as of right now. So yeah, so that's kind of what's going on in that regard. And your mom says 2018's Grinch was just boring to me. Yeah, I mean, even like the Jim right on time, Kawaii. You said at least the Jim Carrey Grinch was cartoony in a dumb way, but the 2018 take on him is kind of meh. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was literally about to say, was that as weird and strange as the Jim Carrey Grinch movie is, it's still very, very entertaining. Okay, it's entertaining, and it's way more of what the Grinch, in my personal opinion, well, I don't know if I could say that it's way more of what the Grinch characterization would be, but at least the characterization of that Grinch made more sense than the Grinch in 2018, especially when it came to like the reasoning as to why the Grinch, what am I trying to say? Especially when it came to the reasoning as to why excuse me, as to why the Grinch started to hate Christmas. The Illumination version as to why Grinch started to hate Christmas was so stupid, because it's like he was in an orphanage and no one was celebrating Christmas with him or something, and then he goes out to Whoville and sees everybody celebrating Christmas and he has nobody to celebrate with them. And it's like, look, dude, you could have, like, any of the Whos didn't seem like they hated you. And that's the other thing, right? Like, the Whos did not seem as though that they hated Grinch at all while he was a kid. One of them probably would have introduced him or something. It didn't make it look like they tried to make him feel like lesser or like an other or something, right? But he just left Whoville and kind of just watched them celebrate Christmas while he was alone, and that's why he hated it. And it's like, that's not a strong enough reason to give for the Grinch to hate Christmas. That just, it didn't make sense, and it kind of just made all of his motivations really stupid, in my personal opinion, when it came to the rest of the film. So it was, yeah, it's not a great movie. The Jim Carrey one, you know, again, it's a weird movie, but it's entertaining, and I'd say it's pretty good, you know what I mean, in my personal opinion. But yeah, your mom says, I mean, sad story and everything, yes, agreed, but still pretty lame. Also agreed. So, yeah. Yeah, other than that, I think that is about everything that I am going to say. It is about to be 6:30 right now. We've been live for about 3 hours and 20 minutes, which is insane. I think I've gone on longer a couple of times, like way earlier, but I don't think I can really do that anymore. But yeah, either way, thank you guys so much for joining the stream. I definitely apologize for the, and again, I'm not going to really pull back on here. I definitely apologize for that bullshit that we had earlier. That was, you know, that sucks. But hey, you know what? It's the internet. You're going to, Mason Wrigley says 4 hours actually. No, I started at 3, so it's not, it's 3 hours still. But yeah, like, again, apologize for the bullshit, you know what I mean? But, you know, it's the internet. You get some incredibly dumb people in the internet. That's just what you're going to come across when it comes to the internet, you know what I mean? So, yeah, but yeah, definitely apologize for that. Hopefully it doesn't happen anymore. And also, every single one of those people can, of course, go fuck themselves. But yeah, so, but, you know, again, it is what it is. What can you do? But yeah, but either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. I don't know. Your mom says, hey, it happens from time to time. Yes, it does. You know, again, this is not the first time it's happened to me, so I literally don't care. But yeah, but like, I don't know when I'm going to post another video. I don't know when I'm going to do another stream. I hope to post another video, or maybe it might be a short or something. I'm not 100% sure, really. But it depends, I guess. That's the most I can really say, is that it does, depend, you know. So we'll see. We'll definitely 100% see, what the possibility will be, I guess, in the future. But yeah, but I will be, heading, your mom says this stream has been more PG-13 than rated PG this time. Yeah, it kind of had to, you know what I mean? It wasn't necessarily something I could hold back in this situation because of what happened. Mayshay Rosie says that's that good too. I'm a fan of you. Yeah, you're kind of late on the stream, which of course is not your fault or anything, but if you want to watch back the stream, then you are definitely more than welcome to. It is 3 hours and almost 30 minutes long. So, yeah, but hopefully you can make the next stream when the time comes. And again, I may do another video. I may do a video sometime this week. I'm not 100% sure. It really all depends, if anything. But yeah. Just trying to end it with a little bit of music. Of course. Let me turn that down here for the time being. Yeah. Okay. All right. So there we go. Turn that down for me at least. Yeah. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you guys so much for joining in the stream. I definitely appreciate every single one of you. And I hope every single one of you guys have a good rest of your night. Hope you guys also have a good Sunday as well. And hopefully you guys have a good next week too. Turn that down. I don't want any of that reverb getting in the camera. I mean, getting in the mic. Yeah. But good night to your mom, Kawaii, Zach's Notes, Mason Wrigley, Mache, Mystery, Kawaii. I think I already said you, but Northwestern Railway. Well, this has been a lot of fun one. Yeah, it has been a fun one and a very interesting one too, as well. Gillian, Dorothy. I think that's about everybody that is currently in this stream as of right now. So yeah, thank you guys. I honestly didn't think we'd be here for this long. Neither did I. Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining in the stream. I hope to see you guys next time, either in another video or in another stream, whenever that's gonna be. Yeah, don't forget, you're hearing it from a regular bunny in a regular world. Again, I hope every single one of you guys have a good rest of your night. Eat some dinner. If you haven't, have a good night's sleep. All of that fun stuff. And don't let idiots on the internet bother you. Don't let it happen, or they will definitely never let you hear the end of it. But yes, thank you guys so much for joining in the stream. I will see you guys next time. Peace out. Take care. Good night, everybody!